I would like to request our dignitaries to please come forward to light the lamp and do the honors. I call upon Dr. Nirmala Lakshman, Chairperson of the Hindu Shiv, Meena, IAS, Mr. Arun M.N., Founder, Chairman, Managing Director, Thank you so much. I now call upon Mr. Suresh Balakrishnan, CRO, the Hindu Group, to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning, everybody, esteemed guests, friends from the industry, partners, and colleagues. Firstly, let me say, wow. Hindu does a lot of events, and we do a lot of events in Chennai, whether it's the AI Summit or the Law Conclave, we even have the Sports Conclave, various events. I have never, and invariably because they can't find anybody else, they ask me to do the inaugural address. And I've never seen the auditorium so full at 10:25 in the morning. I can see people standing. I'm sorry. We did not estimate that this particular subject would generate this kind of interest in audiences. Amazed, and thank you each and every one of you for making the time and being here. On behalf of the Hindu Group, it's an honor and pleasure to welcome all of you all to the first Tamil Nadu Real Estate Summit 2025. It's the first time we are doing a summit on this subject, and hopefully, I don't think it's hopefully anymore, after seeing the crowd in this room, I'm sure we're going to do this every year. We're delighted to host this gathering of visionaries, policymakers, developers, and experts who are shaping the future of real estate in this particular state. Firstly, a heartfelt thanks to all those people who made it possible. This event is presented by Casagrand. It's co-presented by GSquare. Our green energy partner is Swelect. Our sports ecosystem partner is SDAT, Tamil Nadu Champions Foundation, supported by CREDI, Tamil Nadu, Lancor, Namma Family Group. Our strategic partner is the Madras Management Association. A lot of you all would have got invites from them. Our television partner is Pudhiya Talamurai. Thank you very much. And our digital partner is TheFederal. Today, Tamil Nadu stands as a key pillar of India's economy, contributing almost 8.8% to the national GDP and therefore making it the second largest state economy. And we all know, we have heard the Chief Minister and a lot of aspiring Chief Ministers as well saying that by 2047, this will become a 2.5 trillion economy. Best of luck to that. With 48% of the population already urban, it is projected that by 2047, 68% of the population will be urbanized in this state, which means we will need 20 million more urban homes and we will need 1.2 billion square feet of office space more by the time it is 2047. So we are all in the right business, doing the right thing at the right time. Today's agenda, I hope, will reflect these powerful shifts from sustainable construction and affordable housing to the immense potential in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. We are honored to have our chief guest, Thiru Shivdas Meena, Chairperson of T and RERA with us today. Thank you very much, sir, for making it convenient in attending the function. He is a leader whose commitment to transparency and regulatory excellence continues to shape the sector. I also extend my thanks to Arun, Chairman and MD of Casagrand. Thank you, Arun, for making it here. Mr. Bala, thank you so much, sir, for making it. MD of GSquare Group, and Mr. W.S. Habib, President, CREDAI, Tamil Nadu. Thank you so much for all of you all to make it here. I guess Mr. Habib has just made it. Thank you so much. And for their invaluable support for coming together to champion this important initiative. At the Hindu Group, we believe that facilitating these kind of conversations is vital for fostering a well-informed, progressive, and resilient real estate ecosystem in this state. Through our trusted platforms, we remain committed to being a catalyst for knowledge, conversation, and collaboration. The Hindu Group has always supported the real estate sector in more ways than one, and we are happy to see the reciprocation from the industry for all the efforts and the love that the Hindu Group has shown for this sector. Thank you very much. I encourage all of you all to actively participate in today's sessions, network, a lot of people to network I can see, share your perspectives. Together, let's continue building not just structures, but vibrant communities and a stronger Tamil Nadu. Thank you. Wishing you all a productive day, an interesting day, and a stimulating day of conversations on the real estate sector in this magnificent state. Thank you so much and have a good day.
Historical study of the evolution of temples in Tamil Nadu, from rock-cut sanctuaries to structural temples, authored by Brinda Ramanan and J. Ramanan and photographed by K. Ramanan. This special coffee table book has 150 plus photographs and 75 sketches describing the evolution of the grand pillars and 358 pages with richly layered historical narratives weaving history, architecture, art, and devotion. Can I now please have the book on stage? Requesting Dr. Meena as well, please do the honors along with our chief guest. Ramanan is an architect by profession and over a distinguished career spanning 50 years, has designed landmark projects across diverse sectors. Passionate philosopher, his lens has captured compelling visual stories that showcase indigenous visions across India. Meena Ramanan is a trained Bharatanatyam dancer, and as a performer and teacher, she continues to nurture and propagate classical arts with dedication. By the way, they are both active mountaineers, having their passion together. Also, the evocative images featured in their books have been photographed by Mr. J. Ramanan, while the insightful and meticulously researched narratives are penned by Vrinda Ramanan and J. Ramanan. I also invite on stage Padma Subramaniam, an Indian classical Bharatanatyam dancer, who is also a regional scholar, choreographer, teacher, ideal Indologist and author, and is a recipient of multiple prestigious awards, including the Padma Vibhushan. Can we give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? And I request Dr. Nirmala to honor the sources behind this beautiful book. Chief guest for today is Thiru Shiv Das Meena, Chairperson, Tamil Nadu Real Estate Regulatory Authority and former Chief Secretary of Tamil Nadu. He has over 36 years of experience in public service as a civil servant. He has worked in different capacities in state and central government in various sectors such as revenue administration, rural development, water and sanitation, municipal administration, housing and urban development, energy, agriculture, transport, health, education, food and cooperation, etc. As Managing Director of the Chennai Metropolitan Water Supply and Sewerage Board, he was instrumental in setting up the first seawater desalination plant in the municipal sector in the country. And while serving in the Government of India as Joint Secretary and Additional Secretary in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, he spearheaded various reforms in municipal administration, urban development, housing, and water supply sector. As Principal Secretary to the Government of Tamil Nadu in various departments, and later the Chief Secretary to the Government of Tamil Nadu. He has been closely associated with formulation and implementation of various policies and landmark schemes of the Government of Tamil Nadu. For the past 1 year, Mr. Meena has worked as Chairperson of the Tamil Nadu Real Estate Regulation.
Introduction. I don't know whether I really deserve that. Respected dignitaries, Dr. Nirmala Lakshmanan, Chairperson of the Hindu Group, Mr. Ram, former Editor-in-Chief and the Director of the Hindu Group, Mr. Navneet, the Chief Executive Officer of the Hindu Group, Mr. Arun, MD Casagrand, Mr. Bala Ramjayam, MD GSquare, Mr. Suresh Balakrishnan, Chief Revenue Officer of the Hindu Group, Mr. Habib, Mr. Muhammad Ali and others from the CREDAI, the champions of the industry, esteemed promoters, fellow stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to you all. It is indeed a privilege to be here today as chief guest at the Hindu Real Estate Summit 2025. It is an important platform that brings together some of the most influential voices in Tamil Nadu's real estate ecosystem. I thank the Hindu Group and its partners for organizing this timely and very relevant gathering. Having served the people of Tamil Nadu for over 36 years in various capacities, including a Chief Secretary to the government and currently a Chairperson of Tamil Nadu Real Estate Regulatory Authority, I have had the opportunity to engage with the real estate sector from both administrative as well as regulatory perspectives. These dual roles have given me a deep appreciation of the transformative potential of real estate, not just as an economic driver, but as a cornerstone of national development and social stability. The real estate sector plays a very vital role in shaping the future of our country. It is one of the largest contributors to India's GDP. At current, it contributes around 7% to the GDP, and it is expected that by 2030, the real estate sector would be contributing nearly 13% to the country's GDP. It is also the second largest employer in the country, second only after the agriculture, generating millions of jobs, both directly and indirectly through allied sectors such as construction materials, transport, and services. Real estate supports urbanization, infrastructure development, commercial and industrial expansion, and most importantly, it addresses one of the most important basic human need, that is housing, the shelter. A strong, ethical, transparent, and well-regulated real estate sector is therefore not just about economic progress, it is about improving the quality of life of every citizen. As our cities expand and rural to urban migration continues, the demand for housing, especially affordable and middle income housing will only increase. It is projected that India will require over 25 million additional urban homes by 2030. Tamil Nadu is one of the most urbanized states among the large states. In fact, among all the states, it is only Goa, which is a relatively very small state, which is more urbanized than Tamil Nadu. Otherwise, we are the most urbanized state. And in our state, we are seeing increasing urbanization, continued increased urbanization, especially in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, alongside Chennai's continued growth. This is both a challenge and an opportunity. The challenge lies in delivering homes that are affordable, accessible, and of high quality. The opportunity is for the real estate sector to rise as a responsible partner in this nation-building exercise, supported by an enabling regulatory environment. In this context, I would like to mention that the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016 has been a very landmark legislative reform. This act aims to establish regulatory authorities at state level for regulation and promotion of the real estate sector to ensure that the sale of plots, apartments, or buildings or real estate projects is done in an efficient and transparent manner, and most importantly, to protect the interest of the home buyers. Since the formation of RERA, we have made consistent efforts to uphold the objectives of this act and to foster an ecosystem built on trust, accountability, and most importantly, the fair practice. Let me be very clear, RERA is not meant to restrict the growth of the industry. On the contrary, it provides a robust foundation upon which the industry can grow in a sustainable, consumer-friendly, transparent, and legally sound manner. Here, I am glad to share that among all the registered projects at the national level, Tamil Nadu contributes to 20%. That is, nearly 1.51 lakh real estate projects have been registered since the RERA Act came into force, of which 29,000 are from Tamil Nadu. But when we look at the complaints, we contribute to 2% of the total complaints at the national level. So I congratulate you and appreciate that as compared to 20% share of the projects, the share in complaints is only 2%, but we need to do a lot more. Recently we have started that every Monday, anybody, any stakeholders, it may be a home buyer or a promoter or anyone, they can come and meet the authority. I conduct this Monday grievance day every day. Recent 1 month ago we commenced. Yesterday, after seeing this advertisement, few days ago, this advertisement had come about today's event in the Hindu. One gentleman, a 78-year-old senior citizen, he came with his grievances after seeing this ad. So he started that, sir, you are going to participate in this event, but I have my own grievance, and kindly see that you will be meeting these, the lot of people and share this. So his issue was that he has remitted 97% of the cost of the apartment. But till today, the agreement has not been signed. So it was that I have paid entire thing, but I don't have access to anything. I don't have a piece of paper of the agreement. When the Act, under Section 13(1) of the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act, not more than 10% of the total sales consideration of the apartment or the property can be collected without entering into agreement. But there are certain issues. On one hand, we are doing so well that at national level, we are very good in compliance. But there are such incidents which kind of spoils the name of the entire sector. There may be very few such cases, but I think we should see that not even a single such incident is there. this platform gives me the opportunity to take these issues with you and make a sincere appeal to all the promoters and real estate professionals present here and I urge each of you to follow the provisions of the Act in letter and spirit. Transparency must not be seen as a burden. It is an investment in your own long-term credibility and customer trust. I encourage you to ensure that all project-related information, right from land title, approvals, construction timelines, and financials, is disclosed honestly on the RERA platform. It is mandated under Section 4 of the Act to provide all these information while applying to the RERA for registration. And again, under Section 11 of the Act, we are supposed to create, every promoter is supposed to create a page for every project on the RERA website and provide all these details. Not only one-time provision of these details, but we are supposed to update those details on regular basis. Very soon in RERA, we are going to make a provision in our website for opening a project-specific page for every promoter. Treat every communication with home buyers, be it marketing materials, allotment letters, agreements for sale, or handover documents with the highest standard of transparency. Kindly honor your delivery timelines and contractual commitments and avoid practices that may cause disputes later. If these principles are embraced fully, the number of disputes and litigations between home buyers and developers can be drastically reduced and mutual trust will grow. I also want to make a moment to speak about the recent guidelines in form of directions issued by RERA regarding advertising of the real estate projects. The purpose of these guidelines is not to limit creativity, but to ensure that advertisements are factual, responsible, and not misleading. Misleading or exaggerated claims damage not only consumer trust, but the overall reputation of the sector. Many places we can find some flex boards, some posters on the walls stating that the plots are available at 10 lakh. They will only mention the number. Any such advertisement is in violation of the Act. If we are offering something, we must say where it is available, which is the project, whether it is registered with RERA or not. If so, please provide the details. This is what is mandated by the Act, and kindly ensure that we do that. We believe that advertising should empower the home buyer with correct information, not overwhelm or mislead them. Therefore, I appeal to all promoters to study these guidelines carefully, adopt them in your campaigns, brochures, and digital outreach efforts. Kindly internalize these guidelines in your systems. These guidelines are available on RERA website, and we are happy to engage in dialogue and provide clarifications wherever necessary. Friends, Tamil Nadu is a state with immense urban growth potential and a strong tradition of planned development. As chairperson of RERA, I assure you that our approach will always be constructive, fair, and consultative. We are committed to creating a transparent and growth-friendly regulatory environment that encourages innovation while safeguarding consumer interests. Let us work together to raise the standards of the real estate sector in Tamil Nadu and across the country. Let us build not only homes and offices, but trust, equity, and a better future for all. In closing, I would like to thank the Hindu group and the organizers of this summit for creating a forum where meaningful conversation can take place. I am confident that today's deliberations will lead to new partnership, new perspectives, and renewed commitment to ethical and sustainable growth. Let this be a defining moment for the real estate industry in Tamil Nadu. Let us move forward with integrity, professionalism, and a shared vision for excellence. I would like to quote by adding one more right to what the Chief Revenue Officer of Hindu Group mentioned in his opening welcome address. Let us do right business, right things, at right time, and in right way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank our partnerships for their support in making this event possible. The Tamil Nadu Real Estate Summit 2025 was presented by Casagrand, co-presented by GSquare, partners STAT and Tamil Nadu Champions Foundation, supported by Credai Tamil Nadu, Lancor and Nama Family Group, our strategic partner Madras Management Association, our television partner Pudhiya Thalamurai, and our digital news partner, the Federal Voice of the States. So here we are at this exclusive forum bringing together industry leaders, policy makers, investors, and visionaries for what is definitely going to be a day of insightful discussions and dialogue that will shape the future of real estate in our state. We begin with our first fireside chat. This panel brings together thought leaders to chart the roadmap for Tamil Nadu's real estate growth. From infrastructure to investment, we'll explore the strategic vision shaping the state's property landscape. I'd like to invite our moderator to take the stage. Please put your hands together for Rosella Stephen R., Senior Associate Editor, The Hindu. She also edits The Hindu Property Plus in addition to the Sunday magazine. Can we have you on stage, please, Rosella?
when you talk about incentives and rewards, let me tell you how we see it. Incentive and rewards is a part of it. As in, when we hit our annual targets, we take 60-70% of our primary workforce internationally, which we started in the year 2013. And it's going on till now. For some reason, the formulas worked for us that maybe that's propelled the growth. This year too, if we hit the targets of a large number we are chasing, about 1,800 people will go to the US and another 800 people will go to Dubai. But that's a very small part of the game because that's just a sense of reward and accomplishment. But what we do as an organization is more than that. Actually, I want to very proudly say that about 10% of the organization is already owned by my employees or the team members. They own 10% of the organization. I've diluted the, ownership to them before going for IPO so that, hopefully the stock options would reward them very, very well. We have very, very employee focused policy. We have a close to 3 times of a normal average multiple on a Mediclaim and which covers the parents also. To a lot of very different things. Actually, if I can say this in the forum, I'll be proud to say that if we have a policy where if any one of our workforce or people ever pass away, there's a demise for some reasons, the family gets half the salary for 10 more years. And the children who are studying in the school, till their school academics is over, the fees will be paid by the company. So there's so much more heart in the way we go about doing things, which is what I believe has propelled the organization multiple orbits. Otherwise, just about sense of reward systems, etc., and just the money on the face of people is not feeling really appreciated. So we really do this from the heart, and I think that is what has helped the organization grow. Since you mentioned about the school, I want to also take pride in the way we run our school. The school is not just one more school, a CBSE school and so on and so forth. We've carved out 15% to 20% of the children's time towards life skills. So life skills, when I say life skills, actually the children are trained on leadership, on emotional intelligence, public speaking, relationship building exercises, financial literacy, and so on and so forth. These are all our own curriculums beyond what CBSE provides. And we carve out about a 15 to 20% of the children's time in this. We believe actually academic education, no doubt, is extremely important for any child. But ultimately, when you get thrown into the world is when you truly learn all these arts, how to engage with people, how to manage people, how to possibly sell yourself better, how to negotiate yourself better, how to possibly talk in public, how to handle money, all these things. So we have carved out curriculum. So we have something called a life skills program. And these are just not done by us. As in our leadership, we are doing it in tie with Peter Drucker and Stephen Covey. And on a financial intelligence, we are in tie with Robert Kiyosaki. With a very affordable normal fees. I'm not talking about then all these things must be a bomb and that's not for middle income.
That, yeah.
We are talking about a sub-lakh kind of a fee, which is not a unachievable number for a parent. So we think differently in the way we go about doing things.
So do you spend time with these children and do you, are they interested in this, in the parent company, what they do, real estate? Because again, we talk about, because I handle the Sunday magazine as well as the Property Plus, we have many stories about youngsters today who, one, cannot afford a home, Gen Z. Two, so they'd rather spend it on travel and other experiences. Two, they say we don't want to be held down by something like this. On the other hand, you have spoken in interviews about the independent house, the aspiration of having an independent house for the older lot. Now, your own projects, you have clubhouses, 10-floor clubhouses and so many amenities. One of them has 130 amenities. The senior citizen one has 30 amenities. So when you have all of that, how do you factor this new gen that's coming into the market that may or may not be interested in, of course, you have co-living. You're going to be talking about co-living. But otherwise, as ownership, how do you factor that?
I'll tell you something. Actually, this is, I feel, as an over-exaggerated thought over the years. The new gen is very urban, who's very reasonably from the upper middle income and the affluent class. By and large, no. Home is a very big dream. Be it reasonably from a middle income family in the urban centers to the people, boys who come from the smaller towns and the rural towns, the home is a very, very aspirational value. So even if the new gen doesn't want to get tied into a particular place, they don't really see a need to own a home or they would want to travel and add experiences, That's for the population, which is about a 5 to 10% of India. We are talking about the world being totally different in India. Actually, even today, when there are people who buy our affordable homes at 40, 50 lakhs, this boy has come down from Trichy at about 31, 32, he's able to buy a home because he's working in IT sector. He can pay a 40, 50,000 rupees EMI. And actually, on the joy on the day when they receive the key and there's a grub race, maybe sometimes I've been there. 100, 200 people throng the doors for the small 2-bedroom house he's bought to be a part of the grub race and participated that so happily. And he's showing around everybody in the house about the swimming pool and the clubhouse and the facility. The whole joy of doing this business is totally different. So I really am not really hung up about the new gen, which is talk about not wanting to own a home, wanting to add experiences, travel. That's for a 5-10% of the crowd. We are catering to a large part of India, which is not part of that. So that's what, have I answered you?
Of course you have. It's quite reassuring as well. So you talked about this, how emotional it is when people come, for the housewarming. I noticed that Casagrand played a role in a new Tamil movie, 3 BHK. And I've also noticed how you roped in Hrithik Roshan or a Silambarasan or, in Maharashtra's Janelia and Ritesh Deshmukh, sports stars. Now, how has the platform changed over the years with reference to audiences with prospective buyers? How do you communicate with them? How has that changed?
One is actually we realized that today a home buyer wants a very sharp planned information because actually he is a very well-researched guy. I mean, unlike maybe a 5-10% of the potential home buyers who are still grappling in the dark in terms of what it is to really buy a home and understanding, most of these guys are well planned out, well thought through. They've done their Excels literally in place, comparing various projects and so on and so forth. So he wants a very specific communication. He wants very sharp information galore today. As you would know, Insta is feeding so much information, Facebook would feed and so on and so forth. So we have slowly made the communications specific and aspirational. So that's how we've gone about it. These celebrities, etc., is all to bring that extra eyeball. Ultimately, any of the celebrities can bring an extra eyeball or eye into that. Ultimately, what the product feels like, experiences, be it the plans, be it the quality of the finishes we want to do, be it the overall amenities and the maintenance and the look and feel of the community and all these things, if they don't stand very tall compared to any of the other builders, nobody stands a chance. So that's how we built it. So we made it very specific, but we made it very aspirational. That's how we have really blended these two things together.
Thank you for that. Yeah. And Tamil Nadu as your ecosystem, is it a very hospitable ecosystem, given that your growth is still strongest in Tamil Nadu? Can you tell me a little bit about how you plan to align with the $1 trillion economy, for 2030?
Sure. Tamil Nadu is in our blood, Tamil is in our blood. We are Tamilians per se by and large, and hence, when we see the state flourish and as we go about as a business house, there's nothing more heartwarming. We felt that we are in one of the best states in terms of the way the state is organized, the safety of the state, and the potential scope of the state. We always appeal to the governments, obviously, to support us in terms of faster approvals, basic issues which is a problem across the country. This is not a Tamil Nadu problem, so that's something we appeal. But by and large, the commitment of continuously the ruling governments at different points in time, towards the industry and industrial growth actually is amazing. In fact, I don't know whether everybody in this forum would know that Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra are the ones which compete highest in terms of industrial productions and industrial houses. We have a particular venture called the industrial warehousing parks. We built a lot of industrial warehousing parks. In fact, Pegatron, which is one of the largest manufacturers of Apple phone, actually, is being produced in our park. So that's what happens. So what I'm saying is there is such aggression in the government consistently for the growth in terms of industry inputs and so on and so forth. But we believe that the government should work more towards aligning to how the newer, the states have developed. Karnataka has really raised up big. Telangana is really, really good. And so there are a lot of newer, new age companies which are coming. Of course, new age companies operate here, but they are a little more there. And hence we have to keep competing is what I would say. And we want to consistently ensure that We are with the government in terms of giving our knowledge in terms of how to make the processes and how to make the policies better so that ultimately together we win. Obviously, in an ecosystem where the government is winning accolades in terms of how the state has grown, every business house would thrive and grow, and vice versa. So we participate to that extent, yes.
Anything with reference to, you mentioned Karnataka, anything specific that you think it would be great to have in our state?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, all the IT companies.
Besides the companies, the industries.
That's primary, right? Obviously, that generates employment, that generates a lot of wealth, that generates a lot of people. Today, Bangalore, you can't take away the eye that actually it's becoming one of the most important cities to reckon with in the map of India. Obviously, it was Bangalore was not even the RERA, right? It was Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, and Chennai. But how is it that suddenly, the whole world, the whole country wants to move into Bangalore and stay? It's because of better entertainment, better working opportunities, and the crowd feels more younger and it's a more happening city to be in. That's something we have to learn. Point number one. Obviously, the IT sectors also set shops there for all these various reasons. And And other than that, if you see, even the outer ring roads, etc., have been planned about 5-6 years earlier than Chennai. But even then, Bangalore is now bursting out of the seams. But they have thought through a little more ahead. The beauty of Tamil Nadu is actually we have a very dispersed growth. We have a growth in Chennai, Madurai, Coimbatore. You have 2, 3, 4, 5 cities. Whereas in Karnataka, it's predominantly Bangalore and there's nothing else beyond Bangalore. That's one thing they have done well, but in terms of otherwise growth which they've done very well. I'm sure we should learn. My point is that, we can be very proud about Chennai. Chennai is an amazing city, all of us know. But every good practice of every other state should be benchmarked and should be brought in is what I would believe. Yeah.
So your team is constantly looking at how improvements can be shared with the government?
Of course. Obviously, the government bodies and the government officials and the parties which have ruled have been very open to feedbacks, where they have called us for multiple occasions and forums where we go and participate and give them inputs and insights on what could be done better, that ultimately as a state and all of us can do far, far better. We have always been engaging constantly with the government and the government officials to give feedbacks whatsoever. Obviously, many have been received, some have been not received, but that's part of life. But I'm sure all of us, Tamil Nadu being ranked as maybe 3rd or 4th in the GDP list, I think we should be quite proud about that and we should keep building on it without losing focus.
That's good to know. And with reference to global expansion and Dubai in particular, so this Dubai island is supported by the Dubai Urban Master Plan. Have you identified other countries as well which have investor-friendly policies?
We have obviously entrenched ourselves into Dubai. Now we've got some more projects lined up in Dubai. We are evaluating market like the US, as in we have identified some good development propositions in the US, also in Miami, one of the states. We realize US and UK is quite manageable for some reasons. Indians are not very alien to them. They have had Indians entrenched in their social ecosystem for a very long time, both the countries. So we realize when we ever step in, they're quite friendly towards, businesses coming and setting up the shop. It's not really, rippling towards any of the other things. So these are the 2 other places we're evaluating. But obviously these are all, which could happen in the few years' time going forward. We also do this because we realize when you operate international markets, the practices and processes and the learnings is so much that, you can bring in those in our own developments, whatever is affordable. Obviously, India sells at about 7,000-8,000 rupees to 9,000 rupees price per square foot. That's what it is Indian market. You take a Dubai market is about 45,000-50,000 rupees per square foot. But the learnings in terms of the better processes, practices, the way they see, that they even conceive projects is very interesting. So that learning, obviously, because you'll have to slowly make it international. Slowly international. I don't think Indian homes are international yet. But obviously in a journey of next 4 or 5 years, like us, builders like us, and the bigger builders aspiring to be that, can bridge the gap.
Well, that's hopeful for all of us. With reference to sustainability, that seems to be a given now with all projects. How is Casagrand pushing the envelope?
We have been a little slow on that. I don't want to really claim that we are torchbearers to sustainability. I'll tell you something. I come from the belief that a lot of Indians still don't have their own homes. I'm more committed to that dream and fulfilling that dream then sustainability. We are not for a minute saying we are not environment friendly. We are not saying that sustainability is not a very important word we have to mark. Of course, we provide solar panels. Of course, we've done a lot of other different things. Actually, in our projects, we have horticultural farms inside projects.
So
We have a mango grove. We have a teakwood. See, as again, just ornamental crops which are decorating the landscapes of the large developments. We have brought in mango trees, pomegranate trees, teakwood, and so on. The community per se. So even these are small initiatives in a sustainable angle. But we believe, since there's a large percentage of the population which is still not bought its first home, we want to keep the cost lower as much to make it, more attractive and mean to them. I mean, in a sense, if I were to draw a parallel, obviously all of us want organic vegetable, but it's 3 times the price. I'm hungry. So I have to really not bother about organic vegetable. I'd rather buy. That's a mindset, right? So we have to balance out between these two, but we have pushed our pedals in this direction many times, but we ensure it doesn't cut through the cost too much.
So let's get homes first for everybody.
Yes.
Okay. How do you deal with the negative image of developers? Sometimes you see in pop culture, on Reddit forums, social media, they're always perceived as the bad guys. How do you deal with that? And how do you turn it around?
I didn't know we were bad guys. I thought there's a negative image. Yes, of course. Bad guys, I wouldn't know. See, I'll tell you what. Actually, I
pop
think
culture. I'm talking about cinema.
There's a truth to it. There's a truth to it. Of course, we do know about a decade back or 15 years back, the image of the developers. One is actually the murkiness of this potentially having otherwise economy or a parallel economy to possibly, a lot of developers not really honoring thing or taking the buyers to task in terms of doing anything on their whim, etc., are not very well regulated. That space has gone away. That space has gone away. I don't think today we have a chance. We are really scared of our home buyers. That's the truth. There is enough powers in their hands, and that's so a good economy should give them the powers. That that kind of murkiness about a builder's image has slowly gone away. Builders want to act fair. Builders want to act transparent. Builders want to build trust. Builders want to build buildings which utmost quality, which can stand about a 40, 50 years kind of timelines and so on and so forth. So I think the whole murkiness has shifted, and we brought in the best of practices. Government has anyways clamped it heavily. Mr. Shiv, Meena sir was here anyways, and RERA is, a very scary body. That's fine. That's fine. That just puts all of us in the check. We all need a check whatsoever in our own aggressions of growth, and that is fine. And I think things have changed. What we have done is we made ourselves very, very transparent. The way we go about the business, we are very categorically telling customers what is possible, what is not possible, and willing to live with that. And so that's how we've been building the business.
No, and you also mentioned that the customers today are really well informed. And I was listening to an interview the other day where they said before buying a house, check out the Google Maps API, for instance, to figure out what's coming up in that area. And it's also what developers use.
Yes.
So can you tell me a little about the tech that comes into play in your industry, and as a market leader, what you depend on?
And obviously, tech is the word in any industry. So is the case with real estate too. Obviously, we have a platform like SAP. We have a platform like Salesforce Automation. Today, a home buyer doesn't have to come to a site to buy a home. He can experience that, drive through to the site from the most important landmarks. So he very clearly knows what it is on a video which is played up to him. And he can sit at home and go through the process of the model houses, how it is, what the scheme is, and what the site is, and the whole site experiences. Everything which we guide him in the thing, and he can buy. He can book online paying a card. So that's how simple and progressive we have made it. Gone are those days when we used to have those huge loads of people to only handle customer calls and customer inquiries. Today we have chatbots in place to possibly engage with them in WhatsApp conversations, and even voice call, we are bringing it in. It seems so true that it's quite scary. That actually it's a humanoid which is on the other side to really talk to this guy. But that's part of the industry. So obviously in terms of construction practices, we moved many notches. We moved from conventional to Maiwans to tubular forms to precast and so on and so forth. We are trying to see whether we can do steel structures like what really happens in progressive economies like Singapore and so on and so forth. We brought those things too. So from every aspect of technology, we have progressed quite a bit. But obviously there's a very far-reaching distance we have to do, and we keep pursuing the path.
And is there a reason why when you see five-star hospitality brands working on private residences, that's a trend? Is there a reason why you have not got into that yet?
Yeah, we also evaluating those things. See, these are for the, by and large, the more aspirational homes. You know, homes upwards of 4-5 crores. And that's when it really would make sense for the 5-star branded residences. These are nothing but serviced homes, which is convenience. But we believe that you don't have to pay too much premium towards that. What if maybe a builder evolves his own service brand and starts servicing homes? It's not a bad idea either. And we have evaluated a lot of the bigger brands to partner with us in terms of service residences. But if we believe the customers really want that kind of a service, then it's okay. But what happens is we still live life with our kind of a mindset where you still need your 2-3 of the servants who come exclusive to your house. You trust them. So when you leave, the child is there, they left, they're gone, and a lot of things. In a hotel, you don't feel like that. This would feel like a hotel. So those are the things we are trying to understand, the nuances, how home buyers would behave. Even in upmarket 4-5 crores, even if somebody is buying a 4-5 crore, doesn't mean he's as progressive to handle that kind of a culture. He might still want his or hers, typically the house help who comes up. Those are the still comforts of India, right? We still can afford house helps, maids and whatsoever, etc. So those are things which go away in the case. Because it's a hotel, you're staying effectively in all sense. With the comfort, of course there is comforts, but are you feeling very normal at home is some question. So we have not really pursued there, yeah.
Okay. And with reference to emerging real estate developers, what would your advice be to them? I mean, having been on this journey, something that you can give emerging real estate.
Yeah, of course. Be very passionate towards product. This is a product business. You have to be very passionate towards the home you build, the quality, the features, the specifications, the plan, the amenities, the overall look and feel of the project, the low maintenance of the project. All these aspects from a product is what a developer should be obsessed about. The obsessed developer should not be obsessed about the Excel sheets, the profitability, the top line growth, and so on and so forth. That's a very bad direction to pursue a business. The minute you chase excellence in the home you're delivering to a home buyer, these things will reasonably fall in place. If not today, tomorrow, it will fall in place. So that's one thing which I would advise any of the people to focus on the product and be there. The second thing is, you are building an organization only with people. Unless you treat and take care of your people very well, it gets very difficult for you to achieve large heights. If you want to be small and do decently well, then it's okay. If you have larger aspirations, treat your people very well from the heart. Take care of them, pursue their growth, so that they in turn push the organization's growth. So that's the essence. And more than anything else, run a very decent, honest, fair business house. Ultimately, that is what will help you sustain yourself in the long term. Obviously, shortcuts and practices can maximize profits at very early days, but that's not for a long-term journey. For long-term journey, the truth, honesty, ethics, fairness, all these words which you heard from our grandpa and grandma, actually something nobody should forget. That's a core important business philosophy with which you should operate. So product obsession, people care and people growth, and ethics and fairness and decent practices of business. That's what it is.
Okay, I think, and that's something that Casagrand follows by default.
Of course, we try to. We are not everywhere up there. I can't put a 10 on 10 everywhere. I would put a 8 on 10, 9 on 10, 7 on 10, and so on and so forth. It's a journey. Nobody hits the journey. In fact, you're closer to what you think is a benchmark, you have to push the milestones even further. So that's how an organization keeps growing.
Last question before we open it up for one or two questions. With reference, not just as a developer, but as a change maker in the housing ecosystem, what is your vision for the next 5 years?
Our vision is quite lofty. We want to become the largest developer in the country. That's what we're really pursuing as a vision. Obviously, it's as I say this in this forum, it scares me. We don't know we could ever get there. This is very dreamy, lofty. But we believe that we will work very hard towards that. We will think constantly to change our path and change our models and pursue these aggressions. And we want to be one of those business houses which came from Tamil Nadu and went up to the national map and amongst the top boys or maybe in the top space. That's what we're pursuing. And let's hope God is with us maybe. We could.
Thank you. This has been a really enlightening session. Any questions? We can take one.
Hello, Mr. Arun. Thank you so much for the insightful thought on this. This is Murugeshan Muthu, Vice President of the URC Group. I have one point. In terms of the technology that we want to adapt into the constructions, basically the kind of a demand we have and the kind of the speed real estate goes to meet those demands. But I do see the constructions happening in the conventional way, what we used to do last 50 years, the same thing we are doing it now. Is there any way which Casagrand is looking, take this construction technology into the, rather than the doing a construction, are we moving towards the manufacturing the building through the technology, leveraging the digital and modular and prefabricated? Is there any way push you are doing it? If you are already doing it, what is the percentage of the overall project you have in prefab technology? What is the percentage we are doing in a conventional, let's say cast in place, same shuttering, same labor and those stuff?
Sir, we have already set up a precast unit investing close to about the plans to invest is about 8-10 crores to do a precast unit. I would say if the precast unit is set up close to about 20% of the construction would be done from precast. Effectively, we are manufacturing homes, you're right. It gets done there, we only assemble in the site. That's one. Then we've already moved to my one for larger developments because we get better qualities and better clean finishes, etc. The tubular form of construction. And that's close to 50% of our construction. The balance 30% is what is a conventional. The problem is that as much as we want to pursue the newer age technologies, the home buyer is wary. Home buyer is thinking that is this good enough for the next 50 years? Is my old style construction far, far better, etc. So the problem is even when we shift, we are constantly answering the home buyer's concerns on whether this is the best, though he doesn't understand this is what is happening across the globe, the worldwide best practices. But hence we are slowly shifting because, any shift will not be received well. Obviously, we are in a, industry where the competition is also heavy. And competition will come and say, oh, they're doing this construction, sir. We are doing our old age construction, which is the best. The minute you say this in the same tone, gone, finished. Whatever it is gets difficult. So these are the reasons we've taken time to shift. Otherwise, we are very progressive. We see what's happening in the more developed countries and keep doing what it is.
Yeah. Basically, if you talk about the 15 years before, okay, the precast maybe to accept the precast, maybe the lot of reluctance because the design per se, as a hardcore structural engineer, I can say, we used to refer from the ACA code, PCI, everything implemented the precast. But if you talk about the current context, we have the well-established Indian code, IS 15916, which talks about the complete precast design and construction in Indian context. So still that reluctance is there with the customer, which is well thrown across the globe. Or how do we educate the
Yes, of course, but who's going to build the cat? The point is that, right? Say, obviously you are right. But it's going to take its time for the customers to receive it, and hence we slowly would shift. Because we don't want to hurt our business in the process of pursuing newer technologies or better technology. In fact, it's better in all sense. But we have to tread cautiously is what I'm saying.
And on that note, Mr. Arun, thank you. Unfortunately, we'll have to wind up.
Sure.
Thanks for starting this entire summit on a positive, optimistic, hopeful note. And we look forward to the other sessions. Tamil Nadu at 1 trillion and the role of real estate in urban transformation. As Tamil Nadu aspires to become a 1 trillion economy, real estate will play a pivotal role in redefining its urban fabric. Join us now as experts discuss how this sector can accelerate inclusive and sustainable urban growth.
Before I welcome our speakers to take the stage, I would like to introduce each of them. Our first speaker is Habib W.S., the President of CREDAI Tamil Nadu and the Chairman and Managing Director of the RWD Group, a leading real estate developer in South India. With over 2 decades of experience, he combines engineering expertise with entrepreneurial vision. A passionate sportsman and global traveler, he brings dynamism, resilience, and strategic foresight to every venture he leads. Our next speaker is Jerry Kingsley, Head of Value and Risk Advisory in India and City Capital Markets, Chennai JLL. He's a seasoned real estate professional with extensive experience in commercial property leasing and advisory services. Known for his deep market insight and strategic acumen, Jerry has successfully led numerous high-value transactions across office, retail, and mixed-use developments. His expertise continues to influence the commercial real estate landscape in India. Our next speaker is Julian Francis, Senior Vice President, Asset Management, Chennai. Julian oversees asset operations in Chennai and spearheads INL expansion nationwide. Passionate about technology, travel, and behavioral insights, Julian brings strategic vision and multidisciplinary approach to India's evolving real estate landscape. Our fourth speaker is Sri Priya Ganeshan, co-founder of Studio Neon Attic, an interior design practice based in Chennai. With over a decade of experience in Hong Kong, she's led large-scale residential and commercial projects across Asia. Her strength lies in executing spaces with cultural and brand depth. Rounding out the panel is C.G. Satish, Deputy Managing Director at Casagrand, a dynamic leader who's played a pivotal role in the company's exponential growth since joining in 2012. He has successfully led over 130 projects across Chennai and Coimbatore, helping Casagrand secure a 22% market share in Tamil Nadu. Under his leadership as sales director, the company has achieved a remarkable 40x revenue growth. We welcome our speakers to take the stage. Also put your hands together for our moderator, Kunal Shankar, Deputy Business Editor, The Hindu.
Tamil Nadu's real estate sector is a crucial pillar in its ambition with urbanization having reached nearly 50%. How the state's real estate sector can navigate these challenges and realize its full potential. Let me now turn to my panelists here on the stage who've already been introduced. I think I'll start with Mr. Habib. How can Tamil Nadu Tamil Nadu's real estate sector expand its participation to realize this $1 trillion dream of the state's economy by 2030? Do we need some streamlining of zoning? Do we need digitized approvals, or do we need like PPP frameworks? Over to you.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. Thank you, Hindu, for getting us here. I never thought it's going to be this big, and congratulations to the entire organization. Okay, so coming to this subject of 1 trillion economy, Tamil Nadu, it's really ambitious, and it is possible. Today we are at, I think, about 360 billion, Tamil Nadu's GDP. We are the second highest. And definitely we are bigger than many countries. We are bigger than Pakistan. Having said that, Elon Musk alone is about 408 billion. So, Elon Musk is bigger than Tamil Nadu. It is possible.
He's just turned down a 29 billion CEO package or something like that.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is it is possible. So by the business as usual, like the way we are growing today, it might take about 11, 12 years to reach there. But I think if we can fast track, I think government has come out with a good vision of, by 2030, 31. It is possible, we can definitely, we can grow. Real estate plays a very important role. We contribute about 7 to 8% for this GDP. If we can push everybody else, real estate can be pushed, say, 11, 12%, probably, we could be able to achieve. So when I say real estate, it is just not about residential apartment, high-rise, low-rise, villas, or, commercial buildings. There are so many things into it, like in IT parks, ACZs, warehousing, logistics, hospitality, schools. There's so many things. My colleague here will address a few of those things here. So if we have to raise there, probably, we can talk many things, but I only talk about only one particular point. That's what we've been, from CREDAI, we've been harping the government. Our cities, has to be more livable. It has to be planned well. Now Chennai has 2 master plans, but we know how Chennai has grown. For each of us, when I came late to this place, because we got stuck in traffic and other things, but we have to really plan our cities well. The 3rd master plan for Chennai is on, but we've been pushing the government to get the master plan of all the, Tamil Nadu is not about Chennai alone, there are so many cities here. Now, glad that 136 cities, the master planning is on. Coimbatore just received 2 weeks back. So that is the most important one. Today, as a developer, if I have to buy a land somewhere and do, but I'm really confused. Will I get approval there? Will I get so many things, so many clearances there? So if government can make this, step 1 is master plan of all the cities, and then, do it so it's more clear, But I should also congratulate the government for doing things like, for example, today was in the news, VinFast, which they signed about 17 months back, and today they are in operation. That's a great one. So this should be also happening. It is just not for one car company and like that, but we as a homegrown investors, we should also be given, the real estate developers should be given this clarity. I think it is possible and it is doable. And I'm sure with a little more push, I think by 2031, it is possible and we can do it. Real estate will definitely contribute to it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Jerry, maybe if I can ask you to weigh in on that and expand on it as well. Yeah.
Yes, Kunal. So as Habib started, definitely real estate is the, I would say, the cornerstone. If Tamil Nadu has to look at this goal by 2030. And as a consultant, we kind of track different sectors. So I'll probably start with the commercial real estate. So commercial real estate sector in a year in India, we see about 75 to 80 million square feet of demand. Out of that, as we kind of spoke in the previous, we heard in the previous session, Bangalore is the front runner with close to 20 million square feet. And then you've got NCR, which is Noida, Gurugram, right, which kind of contribute about 15 million square feet. And then Mumbai also is a sizable contributor. So Chennai effectively competes with Hyderabad and Pune on an annual basis, and last 2 years has been very good for Chennai overall. we've seen close to 8 to 9 million square feet which got absorbed. And we are kind of seeing the same kind of demand for this year as well. And the good thing is, while many other cities are becoming very expensive in terms of rentals, the rentals in Chennai has still been sub-dollar, right? Which is something which global capability centers look at. And if you look at the city, OMR, we call it Zone 1, Zone 2, Pallavaram Thuraipakkam Road and Mount Punamali Road as preferred corridors of growth. And with the metro coming up, we are seeing further extensions as well, further expansion and extension. So overall, the office segment is seeing a good amount of growth, and we'll probably speak about that as we kind of proceed. And the good thing about the state is, unlike many other states, it's not dependent on one specific sector. You've got office. We spoke about manufacturing. Habib started on this subject as well. So manufacturing is again a good contributor. Places like Oragadam, Sri Perumbudur, or even North Chennai is seeing good growth. Historically, we've seen Tamil Nadu as an auto belt, but recently electronics, EV, and all the other emerging sectors is also is kind of contributing to it. It doesn't stop there. Last 4-5 years, there's been a wave for data center investments. And in India, after Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu again scores extremely high. We've got some stats which we'll probably discuss. But, emerging sectors like data centers, also something which is kind of driving. So it's not only dependent on one specific sector, different sectors which are, contributing to the growth of the state and kind of driving the real estate segment here.
Great, thank you for that overview. I think, one of the things that you just mentioned, Chennai is competing with Pune and Hyderabad in terms of that commercial space. Despite that, let me maybe ask this question to Julian. Is the focus in the state too much on Chennai? And is that, do we need greater focus on growth across tier 2 cities, even tier 3 cities? Is there a sort of a untapped potential there?
Good morning, everyone. And first of all, I'd like to thank Hindu for putting up such a fabulous summit. Thank you very much for this. And coming to the economy first.
You could answer both those questions.
Yeah, so
sure.
Coming to the economy first, I think the target is 1 trillion 2030, and I think we're halfway through, close to 400 billion. And it is not an overnight success. Tamil Nadu has worked for it for over decades. Today, why people are coming to India is because of skill and scale. And Tamil Nadu has been investing in education and infra and everything over decades. And that is culminating in creating all this local talent, which people globally are tapping into today. And this global talent could be on manufacturing, it could be on healthcare, it could be on IT sector. So we have been supplying that, and we are very strong. So I would say that this target 2030 is definitely achievable that way. And the second thing for that is creating good partnership, good relationship, which I think Tamil Nadu is doing a fabulous job in getting investment from global pension funds or getting nationalized developers to come and invest. And they have been investing 20 years at least. Like if you look at, if you want me to name Lodha's, Adani's, Raheja's, Brigade, Prestige, RMZ, DLF, all of them have been investing for close to 2+ decades in multiple sectors in real estate itself. It could be on infra, it could be on office, residential, warehousing, data center. So the strong relationship model of the state is working really, really well, because that potential everybody wants to tap in, because everybody wants to be successful in business. And this is really helping the state. So is it possible to do that? Definitely. I think 2030 we can achieve that 1 trillion economy. And to connect with Jerry, what he was saying, I think where we are slightly losing out is that we started very strongly in IT. If you want to have this exponential growth, you need to have IT also coming in. So we kind of lost out to, I would say, Hyderabad and Pune, because we were on the same rentals, the same absorption, we had better absorption. But slowly we are making a comeback now, and I'm sure the thing will get stronger. And
It's
coming to
interesting you said Hyderabad and Pune and you didn't name Bangalore at all, because That's usually the first comparison, but no.
See, Chennai has 100 million square feet of office space. Bangalore has 200 plus million.
Right.
Bangalore Outer Ring Road alone has 100 million square foot. Right. So where is the comparison
Right.
itself?
Yeah, yeah.
And the other thing is there is a lot of leadership who got ingrained into Bangalore city. So you can't relocate those kind of leadership.
Yeah,
so we need to have
ecosystem
more, that ecosystem, and those leaders have to move into the city, which is very important to drive the business. And to answer your question on the tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities, I think if you look at Tamil Nadu, I think it's the most balanced state. If you're going to divide that state into 4 quadrants, I think every quadrant is not skewed, but somewhat equally contributing to the state's GDP. So that way, I think each quadrant is performing in its own way. Some are very good in manufacturing, some are very good in IT, some are very good in agriculture, some is doing a lot of logistics and transport. So I think all of us are contributing to the state in a very different way. I personally believe Chennai has a lot more potential, and we have to benchmark it to global cities and make it as a template so that our other cities of Trichy, Madurai, Coimbatore, everybody can kind of enhance to that level. Yeah.
So the same sort of question that, the answer that Habib gave, is it what you're looking at is like a holistic town planning? That's something that is lacking. That seems to be what he's echoed. For the sector to sort of move.
Yeah, see, planning, we are doing it for the future. And I think the 3rd master plan is coming. Coimbatore plan was just released. Yeah. The kind of population and the urban shift which is happening, it is very difficult to plan for a state like Tamil Nadu. We ourselves are like a small country. So that way it is not an easy task what the authorities have to do. But I think they've been doing a brilliant job in managing it. What I would say is that we have to see how to enhance and get more dollar coming into the state, because it's sad that we're still not gone beyond the dollar rentals, which is very sad, because your investment is very high. Your returns is still not beyond $1. We need to be more than that. Gurgaon is 90 rupees to 130, 140 rupees minimum. And then there are certain assets in Gurgaon which is touched 200 rupees a square foot. Right. Why Chennai alone should be at that sub-dollar level? Because then you're not attracting enough investments coming in. So if a company is going to look at $1 billion to invest in India, they will look at where that money is going to make more money. So if I'm going to put in real estate, if my revenues are much higher, then I'm going to put it in that state. So that's why I think in Bangalore, NCR, there is more money going in, more assets are coming up faster, and it's attracting more talent.
Great. Sri Priya, maybe I will ask the first 2 questions for you to answer. But you sort of bring in a certain different kind of expertise to the panel as an architect, as someone who's also looking more at the habitation, the livability of cities, which I think is often overlooked on panels like this. So those first 2 questions, but also, how do we foster that kind of a environment for families, for communities, elderly and child safe, etc. It's much down below on our question list, but I also realize we might run out of time, so I'm just putting it out there so you can probably answer it holistically. Yeah.
Touch upon everything. Hello. Good morning, everyone. So I'd like to set things into perspective very quickly. To be able to achieve our 1 trillion vision, from where we are right now, we need to double where we are at. So that's when we're going to be achieving that vision. And while I was in Hong Kong, that 1 trillion just got added to the economy. That's the comparison we're looking at. Adding to what Mr. Julian also mentioned, if we were to attract FDI into our state, then we need to have something that's originally our own. People need to have a sense of belonging. We need to optimize or utilize our cultural capital. Our cultural capital alone is worth in trillions, because our culture predates the whole concept of currency itself. So what are we doing about that? Hawaii is our, if I were to look at it, the whole FSI system that we have here is mostly from pre-British era, right? The colonial people, when they came in, it's based on the British Town and Country Planning Act. When they came to our country, it was mostly administrative. They did not care much for the people. They just wanted to get things done. They just want efficiency in the system. But our current system is actually overlaying layer upon layer over years. We've not really thought about our people, how alive our street side curbs are. Are we rewarding adaptive reuse, or are we rewarding just, demolish the whole thing down and build it all over again? Are we looking at spaces through checklists, greenwashing checklists, or are we looking at spaces through how it impacts the people who live in? Because there is an ROI angle that comes here as well. When people live happily, the reason why people love living in Bangalore is on weekends they actually have a lifestyle to go to off their offices. Chennai doesn't have much of that. Are we converting our unused MRTS lands into night markets? What exactly does it have in terms of, retaining our urban young to want to live here? Why do they want to drive off to some other city to be able to have fun? What is it that so I'm not against density, I'm more so wanting us to ask these difficult questions that we don't normally ask. Yes, when we are going to increase FSI around, our TODs, transit-oriented developments, we are increasing heat. So how are we going to address all this? So when the heat goes up, yes, we need to look at how people are going to be living around the curbs as well. Are apartment buildings being built looking at intergenerational spaces? At the moment, it's being looked at as checklists for, okay, if I give a clubhouse and if I give a function room, I'm done. That's it. And my checklist is over. But how are people living in there? Does it really, it's like this was discussed this morning as well. For every Indian, it is a dream. A lot of them spend their lifetime worth savings to be able to own a house. How much are we providing for them? Are these questions that we genuinely ask for ourselves? Hong Kong had, with the uber high density tenements that they had, along the way they realized they had plenty of money. They realized along the way somewhere people started feeling emotional disconnect. They did not feel, yes, vertical towers with very little space for interaction. If any of you have been to Hong Kong, you would realize people are constantly on transit. Some of them don't even know where they're going, they're just constantly running. Nobody stays in one place. That's not something that anybody would want, right? We want people to linger, we want people to live and contribute to the community and attract international communities to come and live with us. We have plenty. But to be able to realize the vision, it depends on what we are wanting to leave behind, relook and shake up things a little bit, not just take things for, yes, this is a given and then we just overlay, question everything around us. And from here going forward, how are we going to look at things from here?
Fantastic. It's always fun to have the intangibles and the sort of the ranketer on the panel. Without that, it's no fun. So thank you for that, really. Satish, the previous panel actually sort of touched upon, Rosella's conversation with Arun did touch upon green buildings and green initiatives. There was a very candid answer from Arun. Aside from this question, which is, how does the real estate sector expand its participation in Tamil Nadu, in achieving Tamil Nadu's $1 trillion economy? As someone who is very rooted in Tamil Nadu, as a builder, what are Tamil Nadu's implementing procurement practices and reforms to ensure end use, life cycle, carbon emissions assessments, etc., that you would like to see as a builder, baked into the system of procurement for buildings to attain those sort of sustainability targets? Is that actually an untapped potential as well? The greening of buildings, for instance, energy savings as well as being baked into, for instance, power distribution connections, etc. So maybe if you can answer that question as well within the frame. Yeah.
So just getting to the first question, I think Tamil Nadu's really playing at its core. It's playing with its strengths very, very well. And I think the way that what we see Tamil Nadu today, it's very well developed. I mean, you just talk about the corridors, you talk about, the connectivity between Chennai, Bangalore, you connect between Chennai, Kanyakumari, all the highways, everything. There's a lot of development, and I think the focus on infra development by the Tamil Nadu government is extremely good. So I will say that, real estate just echoes that system or echoes that sentiment of what, Tamil Nadu is doing, and if infra is number one, real estate goes as number two. So I will just say that, we are following, and I'm sure that our contributions, not 8%, can be 10, 12, whatever, 14, 15, can go, maybe by 2047 can get to a lot more. Coming to sustainability, I think that sustainability is really the way to go. Though
as a builder ourselves, like Arun explained, we are still exploring that dimension and that direction. I would like to see a lot of, all the developers contributing and making this a reality. I'm sure this is going to also contribute a big way. See, the real estate per se employs so many people, and I'm sure this is one more way that, we can get back to contributing to the Tamil Nadu, this thing. About the energy, about, the carbon emissions and all these factors, I'm sure that, we are taking these inputs from the other developers. Like I'm sure Brigade has been known for his, doing so well in sustainability. So we're taking a leaf out of that, and we ourselves will get into that. Yeah.
Right. Excellent. Coming back to Habib, I think, this particular question that I think Julian sort of did touch upon, that, he sort of says that there's equitable distribution, speaking about different industries in different parts of the country. For instance, speaking of Windfast, it has its plant in Thoothukudi as opposed to the Oragadam area here. But when it comes to real estate, is there too much focus on Chennai? And do we need greater focus again, like in tier 2 cities, in even there are some GCCs, for instance, coming up in Madurai now, and Coimbatore, of course. But it appears as if there's too much concentration in Chennai.
Partly yes and no. I think, everybody would love to move to a bigger city. Chennai, there's a big focus on Chennai. But compared to like Karnataka and other states, I think, Tamil Nadu grows on tier 2. Coimbatore is big, Madurai, Tiruchi, Tirunelveli, even Kadai itself, we have about 10 centers. We are actually expanding. So it is not about Chennai anymore, because, we have to definitely give a push to all the, and this government is doing really well. Really taking, not everything is to Chennai centric, unlike Bangalore. It is taking to all parts of the state. I think that way we are distributed in a nicer way.
Okay. Yes.
Just to add to it, Kunal, in terms of other than Chennai, definitely there is growth opportunity. If you just look at Coimbatore as an example, earlier the office demand was about 500,000, and now it's touching 1 million. And, there's good demand for GCCs who are, especially post-COVID, looking at the hub and spoke model. They're clearly,
I was going to actually ask that.
Yeah, they're clearly diversifying into other cities. Zoho is a great example, right, where they're growing in Madurai and all the other areas. Government of Tamil Nadu also is promoting LCOT, TIDCO, Tidal in different formats, right, in other location and other segments as well, like for instance senior living. Places like Kovai is emerging as a front runner. So definitely we are seeing growth beyond Chennai, and logistics also, right, because of proximity to Cochin, Coimbatore South and all, right, is doing well. So overall, it's not only Chennai, but many other cities along with it is kind of driving growth.
How can the capital markets, since you enable, particularly when it comes to sustainability and greening buildings, are there avenues that are being considered?
Definitely, Kunal, if you look at the investment cycle, right, so overall India, attracts close to 5.7 billion in terms of the overall institutional investment which happens. On an average it's been 3.5, 4, but last year has been high. Out of that, obviously the bigger cities, attract bulk of the investment. However, if you look at the different avenues of investment in terms of investment in capital and sustainable initiatives, what is currently happening is, if you look at REITs, India currently has about 5 REITs. There is a sustainability reporting which is required, right?
Yes.
So I look at valuation practice for the company which I represent. And in that, the way we kind of value business parks with sustainable features is different from a normal building, right? So from a reporting perspective as well, it's slowly, from a fiduciary responsibility, it kind of adds value. And even if you look at global capability centers, the way they shortlist in the checklist, this is one of the basic criteria. As much as, you kind of have 100% power backup and electricity, whether the building has sustainability features, what is the certification and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Plays an important role. And there are a lot of financial institutions, like for instance, IFC, World Bank, and others, who kind of give, green bonds at a differential pricing compared to a regular building, right? So definitely it is making way into the segment, and we'll see more focus. UK is very advanced globally in terms of green building, sustainable investment and things like that. So definitely with a lot more foreign funds making its way into the Indian real estate, those features also kind of come along with it.
So like slightly more globalized outlook might actually help
Correct.
the sector to achieve those sort of global standards. Great. I think let me maybe come to Priya a little bit, and then we probably should open the panel up for questions. This is something that we did discuss in the mock run, and Priya definitely wanted to address these questions as well. So how can we foster a more gender-sensitive, elderly and child-safe urban ecosystems? Are there ownership rights that need to be looked into more? Do we need female-focused safety audits, for instance? Are these also opportunities? Are there structural barriers? And are these also opportunities for the real estate sector to grow?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, okay. Definitely. I mean, not necessarily having to box out as women specific, but safety is something that all of us require. That's basic human dignity that I think everybody needs. And pedestrianized access, a city that is safe for pedestrians to walk. I mean, I'm going to go back to Hong Kong as an example again, where the public transport system is so surgical, so precise, that there is no need to own a car. Car is a luxury, but you don't have to necessarily own a car to be able to get to your workplace, even if it is raining. They had covered skywalks. So from the doorstep to getting to your office place was possible by just commuting on foot and by, metro. But so if we are looking at our underground metro system now, how effectively are we looking at connecting it? Which means the policy making system needs to have a team that is diverse enough to be able to bring in that kind of thinking, to be able to think and put through different perspectives. And it's very important from that point of view to be able to make safety and mixed use accessible. So when we start looking at real estate growth as, yes, this zone is going to be exclusively for commercial, this zone is going to be for residential, then we start building ghost towns. Yes, it is very efficient to be looking at it as isolated zones of healthcare, commercial and residential, but it does not work if you were to want the community to live 24/7. We need to look at mixed-use spaces. I mean, we have Hoscos right in front of our eyes. Why is Hoscos Village so successful? Because it has a vibrant mix of art, and commercial and F&B all working together, and it's going to live for 50 more years and grow from there. So we have examples right in our country to look for. Organic mixed-use growth will automatically start bringing in safety and everything into picture. It doesn't have to be necessarily planned out that way, but it has to be mindfully thought out and built from that point of view.
Hoskas Village in Delhi, is, if our audience doesn't know.
Sorry, just wanted to add one more on the sustainability point. Because today, sustainability is non-negotiable.
Right.
If you're going to be servicing the global clients in office or industrial warehousing logistics, sustainability is absolutely non-negotiable. And if you look at the stock of office space or the industrial warehouses which are coming, without sustainability features built in, you're already lost 50% of the race. So you can't do business without that. The second part of it is the policies and what you said. Today, developers have gone way, way far ahead than renewable power and everything. We're targeting net zero commitments like how the country has. Developers have their own commitments, like what Jerry said.
Addressing embodied carbon.
Embodied carbon, because we have signed the Paris Accord,
Yeah.
and people look at, like, from
Supply chains, etc.
Exactly, whether you're locally
Green
procuring
cement.
or whether the embodied carbon itself. So the thought process has evolved a lot today. People are evaluating green leases, dark green lease, light green lease. So we are far ahead in the game today in India itself. The second part, when you spoke about the policy, I just wanted to add, because I think the government has given incentive in the 2021 industrial policy and the data center policy, where they have given, I think, up to 1 crore as a incentive for sustainable constructed warehouses, and I think up to 5 crores for data centers.
Yeah.
But what we can also look at is, if you look at our neighboring state, Kerala, I think they give 10% extra FAR if you're a green building. If you look at Haryana, they have a tiered kind of system where it goes 8%, 9%, 12%. You get additional FAR if you're a sustainably built building and subject to terms and conditions.
Right.
I think those kind of things will actually motivate a lot more developers to get into it, because you can't ignore such an incentive. So those things, I'm sure, if the government also considers what our own neighboring states are doing, I'm sure we can have a better edge.
Facilitate greater.
Yeah, thanks.
Any last words, Satish, maybe?
I mean, I think it's all very exciting to see that we are talking about these such large concepts, and we're saying that, this is a given. 1 trillion is so given. I mean, this is going to happen. And Tamil Nadu per se is set for or poised for that kind of a growth. And I'm sure all the, developments that are coming up is just attracting the new, see, as we go into a new micro market, you're creating new real estate space. And you're making that so modern that it's actually supporting the entire dream to get there. So I'm very positive, very robust about what's happening. So
Great, awesome. So that's it from the panel. Thank you so much to our panelists for this very insightful conversation. The floor is open for questions. We are actually short of time, but maybe if you can introduce yourself and then ask one question.
Yes, thank you, esteemed speakers. My name is Anwar from South India Shelters. Most of you spoke about increasing the quality of living, and that's how you reach to a road to 1 trillion. So how can the private sector contribute to improving the quality of living in our cities? Thank you.
You want to take the question?
Come again? How does the?
So how can the private sector contribute to improving the quality of life in our cities?
Quality of living.
Quality of living, okay. So I think, we developers, I presume you're a developer, right?
Yes.
Good. I think it's our responsibility as well. Just not government can do this, and private also has to do. I mean, like what we're doing, we're creating some beautiful communities for people to live. You don't need to go to, Dubai or other ways to live. You can still create some wonderful community to, people are aspirational today. And the same thing can happen. We definitely do contribute, and government should contribute a lot in terms of what Priya was telling about the Hong Kong and other experiences. But yes, I think by and large we are getting there, and everyone has a role, and developer has a greater role there.
I just want to add to that. I think that infra, we can participate in infra. So I think the apart from just infra development, what we offer and how we make his daily life much more convenient. I think those are the things that as a developer, if we focus, we will be able to get there. So, yeah.
Anybody else wants to add to that?
Yes, sir. Very good morning, sir. My question to Vice President Casagrand.
Sure.
Yes, sir. In pre-owned houses, because the tech is moving from Chennai to Bangalore to here, right? Have you any idea of pre-owned housing marketing?
Pre-owned.
Pre-owned, yeah. Like
resale,
pre-owned cars.
Right, resale.
Marley
yes,
having pre-owned cars, right? Have you any idea of that? Pre-owned.
I really don't have an idea, but if you could elaborate this a little more, I might be able to throw some light.
Yes, sir. In case you reprocessing or remodeling, then you can sell it. Have any?
Okay, so
Thank you, sir.
redevelopment.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
yes.
the redevelopment market and opportunity.
Your own Casagrand building, right?
Yeah.
In case anyone...
Okay, like that. Okay, so across the city, we are taking opportunities to do redevelopments. And of course, redevelopment is the way to go. I mean, we've seen a lot of this happen within the city. You're saying do it for your Casagrand buildings. Maybe if there is a time at some point in time, let's say 30 years, 40 years down the line requires, yes, we would do it.
Thank you so much, sir. I am Professor Tamil Chelvan from Satyabama Institute of Science.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. No more questions? Oh. Yeah, do introduce yourself.
Yeah, this is Sunita Shekhar from The Hindu. I have a question for Ms. Sripriya. You touched upon mobility. Can you also elaborate a little more on how improving urban mobility and making it seamless would contribute to making the economy 1 trillion?
Making the economy?
1 trillion.
1 trillion. Oh, right.
So I think tower developments have to be very mindfully planned because they also end up leaving a lot of infrastructure leftovers around. So the common spaces, so more than actually handling MRT, the underground metro system, it is also the peripheral spaces that get left behind in these spaces that have to be mindfully planned for various user groups, from children to adults to people with disabilities to the elderly. Can an elderly person get from his house through the train from one place to another by himself without some 5 people helping him out? Is this something, that is basic dignity that we have to think of, isn't it? So he or she is not going to feel happy about someone walking with them all the time. Is this something that we are thinking of? Are there spaces that get left around through these TODs? We look for spaces where communities can come together and, share the space together. Quality spaces, parks, playgrounds for people to access. Under the flyovers, most of the cities have under flyovers antisocial activities happening. How effectively are we using? We do have an example right in front of our eyes. Indira Nagar, everybody knows. It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
But are we mindfully scaling it? That's not the only space that we have in the city. Are we mindfully scaling that across the city, everywhere else? Not just in Chennai, but also the tier 2, tier 3 cities. How are we looking at this? Because the human need is the same across everywhere, isn't it? How are we looking at this as something that we should be working towards?
It's interesting. You're sort of like bringing those open spaces into the real estate sector as a sort of a holistic view of it.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
Can I just add, Kunal, to that?
Yeah,
What
sure.
She was asking. I think there was a representation by the IT companies in Bangalore last year where they said that because of the infrastructural woes, they lost a few $1 million of office. I think it was equated to, 100 million or something like that.
The lack of last mile connectivity.
The lack of infra itself, the time you waste on the roads,
Right.
the time you take, the effort you put into reaching offices or shop, whatever you're going to do. I think they translated it into a few $1 million and said that this is what is costing the economy. So I think Tamil Nadu, Kumta is doing a great job. Now they're talking about bringing in pedestrian walkways and cyclists, how to be very mindful of every segment of people, how they're going to be commuting within the city, how we can integrate every people who are going to walk, people who are going to get in the metro, people who are going to get in the MRTS bus and everything. So I think this efficiency will save a lot of time and that will translate to a lot of dollars getting added into the economy. So, yeah.
Great. Sure. I think that'll be the last question.
Good morning. This is Muhammad Ali, President Credai Chennai. My question is to President Credai Tamil Nadu. Yeah, we are focusing on Chennai. Why I wanted to pose this question to Tamil Nadu is when we talk about 1 trillion economy and also when we are talking about sustainability, and also in the opening remarks they said urbanization is happening and it's going to go to around 63%. It's not good to have everybody in Chennai. Mr. Habib, you said 130 master plans are getting ready for Tamil Nadu, which is nowhere in India this is happening. Is it possible to have at least 40 cities? It's a long-term program. Is it possible to have 40 cities across Tamil Nadu so that it is spread over? We touched upon that also. So by doing that, sustainability is answered because it gets distributed. And second thing is the rural wealth and the urban wealth, the gap gets
disparity
narrowed.
gets narrowed.
Disparity gets narrowed. Only then we can call ourselves as a developed nation, right? So on that, I want you to
can we get to 40 cities?
Possible to take, have 40 cities, maybe.
40 municipalities?
Cities.
Cities. Okay, he wants full-fledged cities.
Okay, so I think you already had answered in that. Okay. We talk about 136 cities here, including all the small towns. It is possible, I mean, we already have some 10, leave alone Chennai, we at least have about 4 bigger cities and then at least 15 cities coming up. But I did not able to get your point on what exactly you're trying to say. Is, I mean, if yeah. 40 more?
Totally.
Like totally 40 cities in the state.
Tamil Nadu should
I feel
have
like that's
40 cities across. Like 40 districts, around 38 districts.
38 districts.
So we should have at least 40 cities. Like today we are talking about Chennai, Coimbatore, Trichy, Salem, Madurai. It's like that.
No, it's not easy to actually build new cities, but the existing ones, yes, definitely we can. Because it is easier to talk, but many things have to get in. A lot of infrastructure has to get into these cities, and interconnected between these cities should happen. And I mean, it's a big subject, and if is it possible? Definitely it is possible. It is definitely possible, and I think we do have such many cities here. Right now we have about, say, 5 airports, so many things have to get expanded. And so that's why people will not want to go to Chennai or bigger cities. We can develop the tier 3 cities and make it more robust and do it.
Great, and that's all we have for this panel. Thank you so much for this wonderful participation from our audience. It's quite a house full. I'd also like to congratulate my own organization for having done a brilliant job of getting this there. Thank you to all our panelists.
Thank you so much, Kunal. Requesting you to please do the honors and present our panelists with the token of our appreciation. Delves into evolving trends, technology disruptions, and future-ready strategies for a resilient market. Our moderator for this session is Sangeeta Kandavel, Senior Assistant Editor. I'd like to say a few words about our speaker. Mr. Bala Ramajayam is the founder and managing director of GSquare Realtors Private Limited, South India's largest promoter and Tamil Nadu's #1 real estate developer. Bala pioneered the concept of secured plotted communities with transforming urban land development in South India. He led the development of Tamil Nadu's first integrated smart
that you decided to be a part of our panel for the first time, sir. And one more thing, Mr. Bala and we have to talk both English and Tamil. I hope everybody here is Great, thank you.
இல்லைங்க, நான் தமிழ் +2 தமிழ் மீடியம், இங்கிலீஷ் வராது, பேசினா இங்கிலீஷை ஃபாலோ பண்ணிடுவேன்னு அவங்க பயந்துட்டாங்க.
Demand for plotted developments. So what happened? What changed? என்ன மாதிரி ட்ரெண்ட்ஸ் நீங்க பாக்குறீங்க சார்?
எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் கோவிட் முன்னாடி வந்து லேண்ட் அக்ரிகேட் பண்ணி இண்டஸ்ட்ரிக்கு வித்துட்டு இருந்தோம். கோவிட் வந்த டைம்ல புது இண்டஸ்ட்ரி, புது லாஜிஸ்டிக் பார்க் போறவங்க எல்லாரும் அப்படியே பேட்டை கீழே போட்டு என்ன நடு ரோட்ல விட்டுட்டாங்க. ஆக்சுவலா அந்த லேண்டை என்ன பண்றதுன்னு தெரியாம அதை பிளாட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சோம். அது ரொம்ப தள்ளி இருக்கிறத விட்டுட்டு கொஞ்சம் சிட்டிக்குள்ள இருக்கிறத பண்ணோம். பிளாட்னா அப்படியே ஒரு செங்கல்பட்டு அருகாமையில் மதுராந்தகம், நான் எதுவும் தப்பா சொல்ல, அப்படி போயிட்டு இருந்த ஒரு ட்ரெண்டு. நீலாங்கரையிலையும் பிளாட் இருக்கு, ஷூலிங்கநல்லூர்லயும் பிளாட் இருக்கு, சிறுசேரியிலையும் பிளாட் இருக்கு அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு இடத்துல நம்ம பிச் பண்ணோம். அது 3 days 4 days 5 days அந்த மாதிரி டேஸ்லயே விற்க ஆரம்பிச்சது. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி சேல்ஸ் இது வரைக்கும் நானும் எதிர்பார்க்கல. ஆக்சுவலா கோவிட் நல்லதா கெட்டதான்னு தெரியல, ஆனால் எனக்கு பயங்கரமா டேர்ன் அரவுண்ட் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னு சொல்ல முடியும். எப்படி ஆச்சுன்னா, நம்ம நீலாங்கரையில் 1.5 கோடிக்கு கிரவுண்ட் பர் கிரவுண்ட் சொல்லும்போது அந்த டைம் எப்படி இருந்ததுன்னா, ஒரு அபார்ட்மெண்ட் 4 கோடி 5 கோடிக்கு வாங்கிட்டு அபார்ட்மெண்ட்ல இருந்தவங்களுக்கு கோவிட் எஃபெக்ட் ஆயிருந்தது. ஆனால் அவங்களே ஒரு பீச் ஹவுஸ் வச்சிருந்து பீச் ஹவுஸ்ல இருக்கும்போது கோவிட் ஆகல அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு ரூமர் ஸ்ப்ரெட் ஆகிட்டு இருந்த டைம்ல என்ன பண்றதுன்னு தெரியாம அங்க இருக்கிற லேண்டை பிளாட் பண்ணும்போது பயங்கரமா சக்சஸ் ஆச்சு. அதை அப்படியே கெட்டியா பிடிச்சிட்டோம். கூட MSDI எடுத்தோம், அதுவும் ஒரு பயங்கர மைலேஜ் கிடைச்சது எங்களுக்கு. அதுக்கப்புறம் எப்படி குரோ ஆச்சுன்னு எடுத்துட்டோம்னா, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நம்ம லான்ச் பண்ண ப்ராஜெக்ட் இப்போ நம்ம 1.5 கோடி விற்கும்போது ஐயோ பிரைஸ் ஜாஸ்தி விற்கிறான் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு ஃபீல் இருந்தது எல்லாருக்கும். ஆனால் அது இப்போ 3 கோடி ஆனோடனே கஸ்டமர்லாம் ஹாப்பி ஆயிட்டாங்க. அதனால நம்ம எங்கே போனாலும் எங்கே லான்ச் பண்ணுறோமோ ஒரு 30-40% ப்ரீ லான்ச்சில் புக்கிங் ஆக ஆரம்பிச்சது. பை நேச்சர் வந்து எங்கே நம்ம லான்ச் பண்ணமோ அது எல்லாமே என்னால் எல்லாமே எல்லாரும் டெவலப்பரும் இங்கே இருக்கனால தெரியும். நான் இந்த சென்னைக்குள்ள வந்து ஒரு ரெண்டல் புரோக்கரா ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணி ஈச் அண்ட் எவ்ரி தெரு சுத்தி இருக்கேன். எனக்கு அந்த லேண்ட் ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணி வாங்குற கெப்பாசிட்டி கடவுள் கொடுத்திருக்காரு. எனக்கு கிடைச்ச டீம் வந்து பயங்கர ஸ்ட்ராங் டீம். அந்த லேண்ட் நம்ம ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ண உடனே எனக்கு கூட நிறைய ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ், ஏன்னா நான் லேண்ட் அக்ரிகேட் பண்ணி இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ்ல வித்தது இல்லாம ரெசிடென்ஷியல் டெவலப்பர் எல்லாரோடையும் எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு 1-to-1 டச்ல நிறைய பேர் லேண்ட் வித்திருக்கேன். அவங்க சொன்னது, சிறுசேரியில போய் நீ பிளாட் பண்றியா, மல்டி ஸ்டோரி பண்ணா 1000 கோடி வரும், 500 கோடி வரும், ஆனா அது 10 வருஷம் ஆகும்னா இது 10 மாசத்துல வந்துடும், நான் பிளாட்டே பண்ணிட்டு போயிடுறேன் அப்படி சொல்லிட்டு பண்ணோம். அது 3500 ரூபாய்க்கு OMR 1 வித்தப்போ 7000 ரூபாய், 4000 ரூபாய்க்கு சினர்ஜி வித்தோம் ஷோலிங்கநல்லூர்ல, இப்போ 7000 ரூபாய். ஸோ 70% பிளஸ் பீப்புள் வந்து காட் அப்ரிஷியேட்டட் மோர் தென் 70%. அது வந்து எங்க போனாலும் இப்போ ரெஸ்பெக்ட் பண்ணுது.
சார், இப்போ பொதுவாக லேண்டுன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா மக்கள் ரொம்ப பயப்படுறாங்க வாங்குறதுக்கு. அப்ரூவல்ஸ் எப்படி கிடைக்கும், அதே மாதிரி கேஷ் டீலிங்ஸ் எப்படி இருக்கும், இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய ஒரு ரெலக்டன்ஸ் இருக்கு மக்கள் கிட்ட. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி விஷயங்கள்லாம் நீங்க எப்படி டேக்கிள் பண்றீங்க?
இல்லைங்க, கேஷ் டீலிங் வந்து கண்டிப்பா ரியல் எஸ்டேட்ல இருந்தது. ஆனா ஒரு 2 வருஷமா எங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சு ஒரு அமெண்ட்மெண்ட் வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் இன்கம் டாக்ஸ்ல இந்த லேண்ட் விற்கிறவங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப கம்ஃபர்ட் கொடுத்துட்டாங்க. 12.5% கேபிட்டல் கெயின். ஸோ எங்களும் எல்லாம் கடன் வாங்கி தான் பிஸ்னஸ் பண்றோம், எல்லாருக்கும் அப்படிதான். ஸோ எங்களுக்கும் கடன் வெயிட்ல தான் கிடைக்குது. அதில் கஸ்டமர் லேண்ட் ஓனர்கிட்ட பேசும்போது அந்த 12.5% வந்து பெருசா இப்ப பார்க்க மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. அந்த பிரச்சனை இல்லை. இப்போ எங்க ரீசெண்ட் அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட்டே பாத்தீங்கன்னா கேஷ் நாட் அக்செப்டட்னு ஒரு சாப்பா போட ஆரம்பிச்சிரு. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு இந்த கண்ட்ரில யாரும் அவ்வளோ தைரியமா பண்ணலன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அதை பண்றதுக்கு 2 காரணம் இருக்கு. வருஷம் வருஷம் வச்சு செஞ்சாங்க. பேசாம இனிமே வராதீங்க டைரக்டா சொல்லாம இப்படி இன்டைரக்டா சொல்லிட்டோம், அவ்வளவுதான்.
சார் இன்னொன்று பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இப்போ லேண்ட் மட்டும் நீங்கள் டெவலப் பண்ணுறது முக்கியம் கிடையாது சார். அதை சுற்றி இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் நிறைய தேவைப்படுது. யூ நீட் அ ப்ராப்பர் கனெக்டிவிட்டி, யூ நீட் ப்ராப்பர் ரோட்ஸ், இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் டெவலப்மெண்ட் ரொம்ப முக்கியம். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ஆஸ்பெக்ட்ஸ்லாம் நீங்கள் எப்படி பார்த்துக்கிறீங்க, என்ன மாதிரி இனிஷியேட்டிவ்ஸ் எடுக்கிறீங்க சார்?
இல்லைங்க, நம்ம வந்து ப்ராப்பர் லொக்கேஷன் நம்ம செலக்ட் பண்ணும்போதே மோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் த லேண்ட் நல்ல இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் இருக்கிற இடத்துல தான் நம்ம எடுக்கிறோம். எல்லாரும் அதே மாதிரி தான் பண்றாங்க. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு என்னன்னா, இப்போ நம்ம எங்க போறோமோ எல்லா இடத்துல மெட்ரோ இருக்கு, எல்லா இடத்துல பஸ் கனெக்டிவிட்டி இருக்கு, ரோட் கனெக்டிவிட்டி இருக்கு. நாட் லைக் ரொம்ப ரூரல் போய் நம்ம இது வரைக்கும் டெவலப் பண்ணல. ஸோ எனக்கு எக்ஸிஸ்டிங் இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் இருக்கிற இடத்துல தான் நம்ம பண்ணியிருக்கோம். அது சக்சஸ் ஆகிட்டு தான் இருக்கு. ஈவன் அவுட்ஸ்கட்ஸ் போயிருக்கோம், நம்ம வெளியே வேற டிஸ்ட்ரிக்ட் போயிருக்கோம், அங்கேயும் சிட்டி இல்லை சிட்டி அனெக்சர் தான் பண்றோம். ஸோ எக்ஸிஸ்டிங் இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் அவைலபிள். இப்போ எல்லாரும் ப்ரோஆக்டிவா இருக்காங்க. நம்ம கண்ட்ரியும் க்ரோ ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு, அது கூட சேர்ந்து நம்மளும் க்ரோ ஆயிட்டு இருக்கோம்.
சார் இப்போ ஸ்டார்டிங்ல யூ ஸ்டார்டட் ஆஃப் யுவர் ஜர்னி வித் சென்னை. இப்போ யூ ஆர் பெட்டிங் வெரி பிக் ஆன் கோயம்புத்தூர். அண்ட் கோயம்புத்தூர்ல பாத்தீங்கன்னா யூ ஆர் ஆல்சோ கமிங் அவுட் வித் அ டவுன்ஷிப். ஸோ பிளாட்டட் லேண்ட்ல இருந்து டவுன்ஷிப். ஸோ வை திஸ் ஷிஃப்ட், எதனால இப்படி பண்றீங்க? அண்ட் கோயம்புத்தூர் மாதிரி மார்க்கெட்ல வந்து டவுன்ஷிப்ஸ் எப்படி ஒர்க் அவுட் ஆகும், அதை பத்தி கொஞ்சம் சொல்றீங்களா சார்?
இல்லைங்க, சென்னைக்கும் வெளியில போறது நம்ம எல்லாருக்குமே நம்ம ஒரு கம்யூனிட்டியா பார்த்தோம்னா ஒரு சின்ன ஸ்டோரிங்க. அது எப்படி எடுத்துக்கிறோம் அப்படிங்கிறது நம்ம கையில தான் இருக்கு. ஆக்சுவலா இந்த பிளாட்டுக்கு வரும்போது நம்ம பிரைஸ் ஏற்றணும், நம்மளே நம்மளுக்குள்ள காம்படிஷன்ல இருக்கோம் அப்படிங்கிற ஃபீல் விட்டுட்டு, எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சதை எனக்கு சொல்றேன், யாரும் தப்பா நினைச்சுக்க வேண்டாம். ஒரு 2-3 விஷயம் பார்த்தோம்னா நம்ம கண்ணு முன்னாடி பயங்கரமான ஒரு ரெவல்யூஷன் வந்திருக்கு. அதை நம்ம இண்டஸ்ட்ரியிலையும் எடுத்துட்டோம்னா எல்லாரும் சேர்ந்து குரோ ஆகலாம். இங்க நமக்குள்ள சண்டை போடாம, அதாவது எப்படின்னா, இப்போ ஒரு ஜுவல்லர், ஒரு மேனுஃபேக்சரர் வந்து ரீட்டைலுக்கு வந்தாரு. அதுக்கு முன்னாடி என்ன நடந்துட்டு இருந்ததுன்னா, நம்ம ஒரு தாலிக்கு தங்கம் வாங்கினாலும் சின்ன ஆள்ல இருந்து பெரிய ஆள் வரைக்குமே அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு 30% வரைக்கும் வேஸ்டேஜ், கூலி, சேதாரம் இருந்தது. ஒருத்தர் வந்து அதை 8%, 6% ஆரம்பிச்சாரு. எல்லாரும் அவர் கூட சண்டை போடாம எல்லாரும் அதையே பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க. இன்னைக்கு அந்த இண்டஸ்ட்ரியே வந்து பயங்கரமா குரோ ஆயிருக்கு. எனக்கு அந்த பிராண்ட் பேரெல்லாம் சொல்ல விரும்பல. ஒரு 5000 கோடி பண்ணவர் இப்ப 40,000 கோடி பண்றாரு வருஷம். ஆனா அந்த 30% வச்சிருக்கும் போதோ அல்லது ஒருத்தர் 8% கொண்டு வரும்போது அவங்கள ஃபாலோ பண்ணாம இக்னோர் பண்ணும்போதும் அந்த இண்டஸ்ட்ரி அவ்வளவு குரோ ஆகல. இப்ப நம்ம வந்து நம்ம பிசினஸ்க்குள்ள இருக்கிற பிரச்சனைய நமக்குள்ள ஹேண்டில் பண்ணாம நம்ம பிசினஸ்ல நமக்கு வர்ற இன்வெஸ்டர், லைக் மியூச்சுவல் ஃபண்ட்ல போறவங்களோ, ஷேர்ல போறவங்களோ, லிக்விட் ஃபண்ட்ல போறவங்களோ, இல்ல டெபாசிட் பண்றவங்களோ, நம்ம செக்யூரா சேஃபா அவங்களுக்கு அப்ரிசியேஷன் கொடுக்கற ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட் கொடுக்கறோம் அப்படிங்கிறது தெரிஞ்சாலே ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா நம்ம வால்யூம் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆயிரும், நம்ம இண்டஸ்ட்ரியே குரோ ஆயிடும். ஸோ அப்படிதான் இப்ப கோல்டு இண்டஸ்ட்ரி குரோ ஆச்சுங்க. 30 ரூபாய்க்கு பெட்ரோல் விற்கும் போது 15,000 ரூபாய் இந்த ஏர் டிக்கெட் இன்னைக்கு 3,000 ரூபாய்க்கு இருக்கு. ஆனா இன்னைக்கு பெட்ரோல் விலை 100 ரூபாய். ஏர்லைன் பிசினஸ் இப்ப எல்லாரும் ப்ராஃபிட்ல பண்றாங்க. ஏன்னா வால்யூம், நம்ம வால்யூம் பின்னாடி போக ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டோம்னா எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு பெரிய பிசினஸா வருது இது. நான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 6 மந்த்ஸ் 1000 கோடி பண்ணோம். செகண்ட் 6 மந்த்ஸ்ல வந்து 2250 கோடி பண்ணோம். லாஸ்ட் இயர் 3500 கோடி பண்ணிருக்கோம். இந்த வருஷம் ஜாலியா 5000 கோடி பண்ணுவோம். ஏன்னா எல்லா இண்டஸ்ட்ரிக்கும் போயிட்டோம், எல்லா மார்க்கெட்டுக்கும் போயிட்டோம். அவ்வளவு பேர் அக்செப்ட் பண்ணிக்கிறாங்க. இப்ப டயர் 2 டயர் 3 எல்லாம் ஒரு ஆர்கனைஸ்டா நம்ம வந்து இங்கேயே ஒரு இடத்துல உருண்டுட்டு இல்லாம கொஞ்சம் வெளியில போய் நமக்கு ஃபண்டிங் என்பிஎஃப்சிஸ் நல்லா சப்போர்ட் பண்றதுனால வெளியில போய் நம்ம கொஞ்சம் ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ் எடுத்து நம்ம ஸ்டைல்ல பண்ணோம்னா, நல்ல குவாலிட்டி ஆஃப் ரோடு அண்ட் இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் கொடுத்தோம்னா அவங்களுக்கு வேற ஆப்ஷனே இல்லைங்க. இப்ப சென்னையில இருக்கவங்களுக்கெல்லாம் மியூச்சுவல் ஃபண்ட் தெரியுது, லிக்விட் ஃபண்ட் தெரியுது, ஷேர் தெரியுது. இதே நீங்க கோயம்புத்தூரோ, திருச்சியோ, மதுரையோ போனீங்கன்னா அவங்க கண்ணில் தெரியுது பிளாட். ஆனா அங்க லிட்டிகேஷன் வந்துருங்கிற பயத்துல வரமாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. ஒரு கேட்டர் கம்யூனிட்டியா செக்யூர்டா நாளைக்கு வந்து கேரண்டியா இவங்கனால ப்ராப்ளம் வராது, இவங்ககிட்ட வாங்கினா அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு கம்ஃபர்ட் கொடுக்கும்போது நம்ம வால்யூம் எங்கேயோ போகுதுங்க. அது உண்மையே சென்னை விட ஜாஸ்தி இப்ப அவுட் ஆஃப் சென்னை தான் எனக்கே நம்பர்ஸ் வருது. அது பார்க்கும்போது எல்லாரும் பண்ணால் இந்த இண்டஸ்ட்ரியே குரோ ஆகும். எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் நம்ம வாங்குறவங்களோட அப்ரிசியேஷனை மைண்டில் வச்சுட்டா மிச்சம் டீம் பார்த்துக்குது. டீம் பின்னாடி ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக கஸ்டமர் வந்து நின்றுறாங்க. அதில் லிட்டிகேஷன் இஷ்யூ கிடையாதுங்க.
சார், இப்போ சென்னை, கோயம்புத்தூர் தவிர்த்து மற்ற ஊர் போரை பற்றி பேசிட்டு இருந்தீங்க. மதுரையிலையும் யூ டூயிங் லாட் ஆஃப் பிஸ்னஸ், திருநெல்வேலியிலையும் பண்ணுறீங்க. ஸோ ஒவ்வொரு மார்க்கெட்டும் எப்படி டிஃப்ரெண்ட்டாக இருக்குது சார் உங்களுக்கு?
கோயம்புத்தூர் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் முதல்ல ஸ்டார்டிங் ஸ்டேஜ்லலாம் கேஷ் மார்க்கெட்டாக தான் இருந்ததுங்க. இப்போ வந்து எல்லா இடமே ஃபுல் செக்கில் எங்களுக்கு எந்த இஷ்யூ இல்லாமல் பிஸ்னஸ் வருது. கோயம்புத்தூர் சென்னைக்கு நெக்ஸ்ட் பெரிய வால்யூம் வர்ற பிஸ்னஸ் கோயம்புத்தூர் தாங்க. எங்களுக்கே வருஷம் 1000 கோடி பிஸ்னஸ் வருது ஒன்லி கோயம்புத்தூரில். ஸோ கோயம்புத்தூர்லையும் எப்படின்னா ஒரு 20-25 கிலோமீட்டர்ஸ் ரேடியஸ்க்குள்ளே அவங்க கண்ணில் படுற மாதிரி லொக்கேஷனில் லேண்டை செலக்ட் பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா யார் டெவலப் பண்ணாலும் சூப்பர் வால்யூம் பண்ண முடியுங்க. மதுரையிலையும் எங்களுக்கு 2 வாரம் முன்னாடி லான்ச் பண்ணி 3 days சோல்ட் அவுட். ட்ரிச்சியும் 3 days சோல்ட் அவுட். அந்த மாதிரி வருது. அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு பெரிய மார்க்கெட் இருக்கு. அதை வந்து மற்ற இண்டஸ்ட்ரி வந்து ஆக்சுவலாக கேட்டர் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. நம்ம விட்டுட்டு இருக்கோம். ஆக்சுவலாக இன்னும் நிறைய பிளேயர்ஸ் வந்தா அந்த அப்படியே மற்ற இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்ல போற இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் எல்லாருக்கும் தே லவ் பிளாட்ஸ். அதுவும் அவங்க உடனே வீடு கட்டுற மாதிரி இடத்துல கொடுக்கும்போது வால்யூம் நல்லாவே வருதுங்க.
சார், இப்போ பொதுவாக வீடு வாங்குறவங்க இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இந்த 40s 50sல இருக்கவங்க அவங்க ஒரு ட்ரெண்டாக வாங்குவாங்க. இன்னைக்குள்ள யங்ஸ்டர்ஸ் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அவங்க வேற மாதிரி யோசிக்கிறாங்க. ஸோ வாட் ஒரு ஏஜுக்கும் நீங்கள் என்ன பேட்டர்ன்ஸ் பார்க்குறீங்க சார்?
இல்லைங்க, நாங்கள் ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ண வரைக்கும் எங்கள் டீம்லேருந்து நாங்கள் ரிசர்ச்னா நம்ம பெருசாக பண்ணல. இது வரைக்கும் ஒரு 4 வருஷத்தில் ஒரு 15,000 கஸ்டமருக்கு விற்றுருக்கோம். அவங்கள நாங்கள் வெரிஃபை பண்ணது வரைக்கும் ஒரு 35 வயசுலேருந்து 40 வயசுக்குள்ளே தான் 80% கஸ்டமர் வராங்க எங்கள் கம்பெனியில் வாங்கினவங்க. அவங்க கூட இன்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணும்போது எப்படின்னா நம்ம லைஃப் எப்படின்னு பார்த்துட்டு பின்னாடி திரும்பி பார்த்தோம்னா நமக்கு வீடுங்கிறது வந்து சின்ன பையன்லேருந்து ஒரு கனவாக இருக்குது. ஆனால் இப்போ இருக்கிறவங்க படிக்கிறதுக்கே கடன் வாங்க வேண்டியது இருக்குது. ஃபஸ்ட்டு எடுத்தோடனே வேலை கிடைச்சோடனே எஜுகேஷன் லோன் செட்டில் பண்ணணும். எஜுகேஷன் லோன் முடித்த உடனே பைக் வாங்கணும், அதுக்கு இஎம்ஐ கட்டணும். அப்புறம் கார் வாங்கணும், அந்த இஎம்ஐ கட்டணும். அதுக்கப்புறம் மேரேஜ் இருக்கும், குழந்தை, அந்த எக்ஸ்பென்சஸ் எல்லாம் முடிச்சு ஒரு வீடு அப்படின்னு பிளான் பண்ணும்போது அவங்க ட்ரீம் எப்படி இருக்குன்னா, நம்ம இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுறோம், நாளைக்கு இது இஎம்ஐ கட்டி முடியறதுக்கு 20 வருஷம் ஆகும். அவர் லைஃபே ஒரு ஜென்ரேஷன் தான் ஒரு வீடு. அந்த ஒரு ஜென்ரேஷனுக்கு அவங்க என்ன திங்க் பண்ணுறாங்கன்னா, இருக்கிறதுல என்ன பெஸ்ட் கிடைக்கும் நம்ம கொடுத்துட்டு அது டிப்ரிசியேஷன் இல்லாமல் அப்ரிஷியேட் ஆகிட்டாலே நம்ம ஜெயிச்சிடுவோம். ஸோ 85% வந்து அவங்களோட லைஃப். ஸோ அதுக்கு எவ்வளோ மேக்ஸிமம் இப்போ லான்ச் பண்ணும்போது ஒரு 30% ப்ராடக்டை வந்து கொஞ்சம் காஸ்ட் டு காஸ்ட் இல்லை சின்ன ப்ராஃபிட்டில் கொடுத்துட்டோம்னா அவங்களே பெரிய பிராண்ட் அம்பாசிடர். அவங்க தான் நம்மளை வளர்த்து விட்றாங்க. இதில் யங்ஸ்டர்ஸ்க்கு எல்லாரும் எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் அவங்க லைஃப்குள்ளே போய் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அவங்களோட ட்ரீமே வீடு. ஒரு லைஃப் ஒரு வீடு. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு அவங்க படித்து ஒரு வீடு பண்ணிட்டாலே லைஃப் சாட்டிஸ்ஃபேக்ஷன் ஆனவங்க தான் 80% இருக்காங்க. நம்மள மாதிரி பிஸ்னஸ் பண்ணுறவங்க 5%, 10% இல்லை 20% தான் மேக்ஸிமம்.
சார், இப்போ தமிழ்நாடு கவர்மெண்ட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இந்த 1 trillion எக்கானமியை நோக்கி போயிட்டு இருக்கோம் 2030 அச்சீவ் பண்ணுன்ட்டு. ஸோ அதுக்கு ரியல் எஸ்டேட் செக்மெண்ட் என்ன பண்ணலாம், என்ன மாதிரி கான்ட்ரிபியூட் பண்ணலாம்?
இல்லைங்க, தமிழ்நாடு கவர்மெண்ட் அவங்க பயங்கர இனிஷியேட்டிவ் எடுத்துட்டு இருக்காங்க. எல்லா இடத்துல இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் ரொம்ப நல்லா வந்துட்டு இருக்கு. எங்கே போனால் நம்ம வேற ஸ்டேட்டில் போய் டிராவல் பண்ணோம்னா நம்ம ஊரில் இருக்கிற ரோடு, நம்ம இங்கிருந்து திருச்சி போனாலும் மதுரை போனாலும் கன்னியாகுமரி போனாலும் எங்கே போனாலும் நம்மளுக்கு இருக்கிற ரோடு இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் ஈவன் பக்கத்தில் இருக்கிற கர்நாடகாலே கிடையாதுங்க. இந்த அளவுக்கு இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் இருக்கிற ஒரு ஸ்டேட்டில் நான் மற்ற ஸ்டேட்லையும் போய் பிஸ்னஸ் பண்ணி பார்த்தேங்க. இது வந்து பியூர்லி ரீஜனல் பிளே தான். நம்ம இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுற ஒரு கஸ்டமருக்கு பிரச்சனை இல்லாமல், லிட்டிகேஷன் இல்லாமல் ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி கொடுத்துட்டு நம்ம போயிட்டு இருந்தோம்னா கவர்மெண்ட் பயங்கர ப்ரோஆக்டிவாக போயிட்டு இருக்கு. ஸோ நமக்கு எந்த எஃபெக்டும் ஆக போகிறது இல்லை. நம்ம சேர்ந்து குரோ தான் ஆக போகிறோம்.
சார், இப்போ நேற்று பார்த்தீங்கன்னா கவர்மெண்ட்ல வந்து தூத்துக்குடியில் ஒரு பெரிய MOUs நிறைய போட்டிருக்காங்க. ஒரு 41 MOUs கிட்ட போட்டிருக்காங்க. ஸோ தூத்துக்குடி டவுன் சவுத் ரீஜன்ஸ்லாம் எப்படி இருக்கு சார்?
ஆல்ரெடி நல்லா இருக்குங்க. அங்கே அதான் நம்ம எல்லாருக்குமே அவுட்டர் போய் ஒர்க் பண்ணாமல் விட்டனால அதோட டேஸ்ட் தெரியலங்க. இப்போ ஒரு 1 year 1.5 year நாங்கள் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். வெளியில அவங்களுக்கு வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லேண்ட்லார்டுக்கு ஒரு பெரிய லேண்டை டீல் பண்றதுக்கு கெப்பாசிட்டி இல்லாமல் இருக்காங்க சின்ன ஊர்ல. இங்க நம்ம சென்னையில் இருக்கவங்க போனோம்னா பயங்கர ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி இருக்கு வெளியில. ஆக்சுவலா எல்லாரும் போனா எல்லா மார்க்கெட்டும் க்ரோ ஆகும். அங்க அவ்வளோ ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி ப்ராப்பரா பண்ணுனா வாங்குறதுக்கு ஆள் இருக்காங்க. அங்க ப்ராப்பரா பண்ண தெரியலையா இல்ல பண்ண முடியலையான்னு தெரியல. ஆனா ப்ராப்பரா பண்ணா எங்க பிரசன்ஸ் நாங்க போற இடத்துல எல்லாமே இது வரைக்கும் ஆல்மோஸ்ட் 200 ப்ராஜெக்ட் நெருங்கிட்டோம். 100 ப்ராஜெக்ட் பிளஸ் சோல்ட் அவுட். ஆன்கோயிங் 40+ இருக்கு, அப்கமிங் 60 இருக்கு. எங்க பார்த்தாலும் எனக்கு ப்ரீ லான்ச்ல 30% புக்கிங் இருக்கு. ஸோ வெளியில போனா எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு பெட்டர் பிசினஸ் கிடைக்குதுங்க.
சார் இப்போ லேண்ட்ல இருந்து டவுன்ஷிப் மூவ் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க. இப்போ அடுத்த 2 வருஷத்துக்கு உங்க லாங் டர்ம் பிளான்ஸ்
இல்ல டவுன்ஷிப் நாங்க ஒரு பெரிய ஹியூஜ் 700 ஏக்கர்ஸ் கார்பரேஷன் லிமிட்ல இருக்கு. நான் எல்லாரு கூடயும் பில்டர் கூட பேசுறது என்னன்னா, நீங்க போய் லேண்ட் வாங்கி அப்ரூவல் வாங்கி அதுக்கு ஃபண்டிங் வாங்கி எல்லாம் பண்றதுக்கு நம்ம கிட்ட நல்ல லேண்ட் பேங்க் இருக்கு, நீங்களே உள்ள வந்து டெவலப் பண்ணுங்கன்னு சொல்லி இப்ப எல்லா டெவலப்பரையும் இன்வைட் பண்ணிருக்கோம். ஆல்மோஸ்ட் ஒரு பெரிய இன்னும் சைன் பண்ணல, எல்லாரும் அண்டர் ப்ராசஸ்ல இருக்கு. ஒரு 7 டெவலப்பர்ஸ் பேன் இண்டியா வந்து ஒரே ஒரு டவுன்ஷிப்குள்ள டெவலப் பண்றாங்க. ஸோ ஐடி பார்க் வருது, மால் வருது, ஹோட்டல் வருது. அந்த மாதிரி வரும்போது எங்களுக்கு இப்ப நாங்க இப்ப இன்னொரு புது முயற்சி எடுத்திருக்கோம். எல்லாமே சின்ன சின்ன டெவலப்பர் கூட எங்க லேஅவுட்ல வந்து அவங்க வந்து தனியா லேண்ட் வாங்கி அதுக்கு ஃபண்டிங் வாங்கி அதுக்கு அப்ரூவல் வாங்கி ரெரா வாங்கி அவங்க கட்டுறதுக்கு வில்லா கட்டுறாங்களா எங்க லேண்ட்ல வந்து எந்த லேஅவுட்ல வேணாலும் கட்டிக்கிட்டோம். எங்க காஸ்ட் என்னன்னு பார்த்துட்டு சின்ன மார்ஜின் வச்சு கொடுத்துறோம். அவங்களே பில் பண்ணி அவங்களே டெவலப் பண்ணி அவங்க கஸ்டமருக்கு கொடுத்துட்டு போயிடலாம். அவங்க தனியா லேண்ட் வாங்கிட்டு இருக்க வேணாம். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு 700 இன்னொரு 400 சென்னை சுத்தி வர்றோம். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி பெரிய டவுன்ஷிப் எடுத்துட்டு எல்லாரும் கூட ஷேர் பண்ணி பிசினஸ் பண்ற மாதிரி எடுத்துட்டு போறோம். நான் கட்ட போறது இல்லை, எனக்கு பயம்.
சார் உங்களுக்கு ஒரு டஃப்பான क्वेश्चन சார். லேண்டா வீடா சார்?
லேண்டுங்க.
ஓகே சரி சார், we just have 5 more minutes. We'll take a couple of questions from the audience.
எல்லாருக்கும் பசிக்குங்க.
ஆமா சார், அதான் ரெண்டு questions எடுத்துடலாம் சார் ஆடியன்ஸ்க்கு. Any questions?
ஹலோ சார்.
எஸ்மா
சார், என்னோட நேம் ராஜா. நான் ஒரு மார்க்கெட்டிங் கன்சல்டன்ட். ஸோ எனக்கு ஒரு சின்ன டவுட். ஸோ நீங்கள் லேண்ட் வந்து ஒவ்வொரு இடத்துலையும் ப்ரொக்யூர் பண்ணுவீங்க. ஸோ லேண்ட் பேங்க் வச்சிருக்கீங்கன்னு சொன்னீங்க. ஸோ அது இல்லாமல் புதுசாக ப்ரொக்யூர் பண்ணுறதுக்கு
டெய்லி ப்ரொக்யூர் பண்ணுறோங்க.
ஆமாம் சார், அது தெரியும். நான் திருநெல்வேலி தான். ஸோ அதனால் எனக்கு அங்கே ஓரளவு நீங்கள் ப்ரொக்யூர் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறது தெரியும். ஸோ என்ன ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி யூஸ் பண்ணுறீங்கன்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கலாங்கிறதுக்காக தான். ஸோ ஒரு லேண்டை பார்க்கறதுக்கு முன்னாடி இந்த லேண்டு தான் நேஷனல் ஹைவேவா இல்லை நேஷனல் ஹைவேலேருந்து உள்ளே போவீங்களா? ஸோ எதை பேஸ் பண்ணி எப்படி எடுப்பீங்கன்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கலாம்.
இந்த பிரைம் லேண்டுங்க எப்படின்னா ஹைவே இருக்கான்னு எல்லா ஹைவேல நம்மளுக்கு லேண்டு கிடைக்காது. ஜஸ்ட் நாங்கள் ரொம்ப சிம்பிளாக பார்த்துருவோம். லொக்கேஷன் வரும் பேப்பர் ஆட்ல, லொக்கேஷன் சுற்றி எவ்வளோ வீடு இருக்குன்னு பார்ப்போம். இந்த லேண்ட் கேப்புக்கும் பக்கத்தில் இருக்கிற கேட்ச்மெண்ட்டுக்கும் எவ்வளோ தூரம்னு பார்ப்போம். எவ்வளோ ஒரு 1000-5000 வீடு இருந்ததுன்னா அந்த இடத்துல 5-10 ஏக்கர் போட்டால் ஒரு மாதத்தில் வித்தரலாம். ஒரு 10,000-20,000 வீடு இருந்ததுன்னா அதை விட ஜாஸ்தி எக்ஸ்டெண்ட் எடுக்கலாம். அந்த மாதிரி நம்ம கூகுள்ல இப்ப பாதி வேலை முடியுது. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் கூகுள் பார்க்கும்போது புரியாது எனக்கெல்லாம். அது இப்போ வந்து அதுதான் ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுது ஆக்சுவலா. அதுக்கப்புறம் டைரக்டா போய் சைட்டை பார்ப்போம், ஆக்சஸ் ரோடு பார்ப்போம், ப்ராப்பர் ரோடு இருக்கணும். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லிட்டிகேஷன் இல்லாம லீகல் பார்த்துக்கணும். லீகல் கிளியரா இருந்தா டேக் ஆஃப் பண்ண வேண்டியதாங்க.
ஷூர் சார். சார் இப்போ என்ஹெச்சுக்கும் உள்ள போற ரோடுக்கும் ரேட் டிஃபரன்ஸ் இருக்கும் இல்லையா?
கண்டிப்பா.
ஸோ இப்போ என்ஹெச்ல இருக்கிற ரோட்ஸை யாரும் இப்போ எடுக்கிறது இல்லையா? இல்ல அந்த மாதிரி லேண்ட்ஸை யாரும் எடுக்கிறது இல்லையா? இல்ல உள்ள இருக்கிற லேண்ட் வந்து சீப்பா கிடைக்குங்கிறதுக்காக அதை டெவலப் பண்ணா அதிக ப்ராஃபிட் கிடைக்குங்கிற மாதிரி?
என்ஹெச் மேல எடுக்கும்போது நம்மளுக்கு கமர்ஷியல் பிளாட் வரும். அதுல நம்ம ஜாஸ்தி கொடுத்து எடுத்தாலும் நம்மளுக்கு ஒர்க் அவுட் ஆகும். ரெண்டுக்கும் கஸ்டமர் இருக்காங்க. என்ஹெச்ல இருக்கிறவங்களுக்கு நம்ம 6000 ரூபாய், இப்ப நான் பூந்தமல்லியில போட்டிருக்கேன், 5000 ரூபாய் 4500 ரூபாய் ஆவரேஜ், கமர்ஷியலோட 6000 ரூபாய் வரும். அதே நானே 2 கிலோமீட்டர் உள்ள போட்டிருக்கேன், 3000 ரூபாய் விற்கிறேன். அதுக்கு அவங்க அந்த பட்ஜெட் கஸ்டமர் அங்க வந்துடுறாங்க, இங்க இருக்கவங்க இங்க வந்துடுறாங்க.
ஓகே சார். ஏன் இந்த கேட்டேன்னா லேண்ட்னாலே ஒரு மித் இருக்கு சார். அது வந்து ப்ராஃபிட் கொடுக்கும் கண்டிப்பா. பட் எல்லா லேண்டுமே ப்ராஃபிட் கொடுக்குமா அப்படிங்கிறது தெரியல.
கண்டிப்பா எல்லா லேண்டும் கொடுங்க, கரெக்டான லொகேஷனா இருக்கிற வரைக்கும், லீகல் ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லாத வரைக்கும்.
அதுதான் சார் சொல்ல வரேன். ஸோ எல்லாருக்கும் அந்த இடங்கள் கிடைக்கிறது இல்லையா? ஸோ அந்த அப்ரிசியேஷன் எல்லாருக்கும் கிடைக்குமா அப்படிங்கிறது தான். ஸோ நம்ம கிட்ட ஒரு 3,999 per square feet நம்ம விற்கிறோம் அப்படின்னா, ஸோ அந்த லேண்டை நாளைக்கு வாங்கும்போது 12,000க்கு மேல போகும். ஸோ அப்போ அதை தாண்டி மக்கள் போக சான்சஸ் இருக்கு. ஸோ அந்த லேண்டுக்குள்ள திரும்ப வாங்குறதுக்கு உண்டான கெப்பாசிட்டி மக்களுக்கு இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்களான்னு கேட்குறேன்.
சரி, இன்னைக்கு வரைக்கும் நம்ம 1.5 கோடி கிரவுண்ட் விற்கும் போதும் ஈசிஆர்ல வித்துச்சு. இப்ப 3 கோடி போடும் போதும் விக்குது. அவங்களும் குரோ ஆகிறாங்க, நம்மளும் குரோ ஆகிறாங்க, வாங்கினவங்களும் குரோ ஆயிட்டு இருக்காங்க. இப்ப நம்ம எங்க போய் போட்டோம்னாலும், இப்ப நம்ம 2500 ரூபாய் பூந்தமல்லியில போடுறோம்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன், ஒரு 3 வருஷம் கழிச்சு 5000 ரூபாய் இருக்கும். ஐயோ நம்ம அப்ப 2500 ரூபாய்க்கு வித்துட்டுமே யோசிக்க கூடாது. அப்ப 5000 ரூபாய்க்கு என்ன விற்க முடியுமா, நம்ம 4500 ரூபாய்க்கு அந்த இடத்துல விற்க முடியுமான்னு திங்க் பண்ணி அதுல பண்ணும். வால்யூம் பண்ணும்போது கண்டிப்பா ப்ராஃபிட் இருக்குங்க.
கண்டிப்பா சார். பட் அது இண்டிவிஜுவலால முடியும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்களா? GSquare-ஆல முடியும்?
நானும் இண்டிவிஜுவல் தாங்க. GSquare அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து சேர்ந்த கூட்டங்க. நானும் ஒரு புரோக்கருங்க 2006ல.
Sir, we'll move on to the next question.
Thank you sir.
முடியுங்க.
Right sir.
Happy morning, sir. This is Bhadresh Mehta. As a real estate agent, we would like to know which is the next developing area. Right now,
Sir,
the Chingalpet has developed, ACR is developed. So, new virgin area where you see your foresight.
சரி, எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச ஒரு அறிவு சொல்லிடுறேன் சார். ஜிஎஸ்டி, ரோடு, பஸ் டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட்டேஷன், ட்ரெயின், இப்ப மெட்ரோ, ஏர்போர்ட் எல்லாமே இருக்கு. நீங்க சென்னையில் எடுத்துட்டீங்கன்னா ஜிஎஸ்டி செங்கல்பட்டு தாண்டி குரோ ஆயிட்டு இருக்கும். அதே நீங்க ஒரு பெங்களூர் ஹைவே எடுத்தீங்கன்னா பூந்தமல்லி போறதுக்கே இன்னும் டைம் ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு. ஈவன் ஆஃப்டர் பூந்தமல்லி, ஸ்ரீபெரும்புதூர்லாம் அவ்வளவு பெரிய இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ஹப் வந்து கூட ஏன் அங்க டிராக்ஷன் வரல, இந்த அளவுக்கு வரலன்னா 4 இப்ப மெட்ரோவும் சேர்ந்துருச்சு. 5 டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட்டேஷனும் இருக்கிற ஒரு ரோடு தான் ஜிஎஸ்டி. நமக்கு ஜிஎஸ்டி ஏன் குரோ ஆச்சுன்னு, இத்தனைக்கும் ஒரு சைடு ரயில்வே ட்ராக். ஸோ அப்படி இருந்தும் அந்த ரோடு குரோ ஆயிருக்குன்னா அந்த எல்லா கனெக்டிவிட்டியும், ஒரு ஹஸ்பண்ட் வந்து வெளியே போவார் வருவார், ஏர்போர்ட்டுக்கு பக்கமா இருக்கும், பிள்ளைங்க ஸ்கூல் காலேஜும் பக்கமா இருக்கும், ஒய்ஃப் சப்போஸ் சென்னை வர்றாங்கன்னா அவங்களுக்கு ட்ரெயின் கனெக்டிவிட்டி இருக்கும். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி 4-5 டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட்டேஷனும் எங்கெல்லாம் சேர்ந்து இருக்கும் அந்த ரோடு மட்டும் தான் குரோ ஆகுது நமக்கு தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும். பிளஸ் பெரிய ஏரியா, இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ஏரியா வருதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு பெரிய டவுன்ஷிப் போய் அங்க பண்ணை மாட்டிக்க கூடாது. ஏன்னா அங்க ப்ளூ காலர்ஸ் தான் இருப்பாங்க. ஒயிட் காலர்ஸ் இருக்கிற இடத்துல பெரிய வால்யூம் பண்ணலாம், ப்ளூ காலர்ஸ் இருக்கிறதுல சின்ன வால்யூம் பண்ணிட்டு எஸ்கேப் ஆயிடணும்.
Thank you, sir.
We'll just take one last question.
போறோம் சார், கடவுள் சப்போர்ட் பண்ணும்.
All right, thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thanks,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Mr.
Thanks,
Bala.
thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We now move on to our next panel discussion titled RERA, Regulations in Ireland. And this panel examines how policies like RERA I once again invite Kunal Shankar, Deputy Business Editor of The Hindu, as the moderator for this session. I'd like to say a few words about our speakers as we welcome them on stage. Our first speaker is Sanjay Chugh, the City Head and Director of Anna Rock Property Consultants Private Limited, Chennai. A veteran with over 25 years in real estate, he leads a team of 30+ professionals managing strategic marketing partnerships and diverse residential portfolios. He's known for his deep expertise in mandated sales, and he now also drives land services and luxury home strategies across Tamil Nadu. Recognized as a thought leader, his insights frequently feature in top publications. With a reputation for excellence in crisis management, Sanjay continues to influence and elevate the real estate industry. Sanjay, we welcome you. Our next speaker is Shiv, Chairman of Luxury and Livability Private Limited, and a seasoned real estate professional with over 3 decades of experience. With a strong foundation in finance law, he has served respected industry and civic leader. We welcome him on stage. And rounding out the panel, our final speaker is Chairperson Padmanabhan, Senior Partner at Fox Mandal's Chennai office, leading the real estate practice with over 24 years of legal expertise. He advises a diverse clientele on real estate litigation, title due diligence, joint ventures, leasing, and regulatory compliance. His work spans residential, commercial, and industrial development. Known for his clarity and depth in legal strategy, Chairperson frequently conducts institutional and seminars. His contributions around recognition we welcome Chairperson Padmanabhan on stage.
So thank you for that glowing introduction and welcome to our audience to this second panel. I'm sure it's of much interest, RERA indeed. So let's head right into it. Since its implementation in 2017, Tamil Nadu's RERA in particular has emerged as one of the more functional regulatory authorities in India, ensuring basic compliance, builder accountability, and project transparency. In fact, it can be safely said that it's really revolutionized the building and construction sector, especially in metros like Chennai and Coimbatore. Compared with other states, Tamil Nadu Real Estate Regulatory Authority has maintained steady progress in grievance redressal and project registration. Yet its potential remains underutilized. We're going to definitely discuss that aspect as well. In addressing deeper structural issues like integration with green codes like ECBC, the Energy Conservation Building Code, enabling equitable redevelopment and fostering inclusive urban environments. As Tamil Nadu envisions again a $1 trillion economy, RERA must evolve from a compliance tool into a collaborative, future-facing framework supporting sustainability, resilience, and people-centric urban growth. So thank you again, Sanjay, Sridharan, and Jayaprakash here. So maybe if I can start with Sanjay, you know, how can RERA deepen its compliance regime to go beyond registration and grievance redressal, ensuring integration with, you know, green norms, etc. But also, this is a major change that has happened, as I said, like a paradigm shift. So what is it meant for customers? I think that's an important aspect that should be addressed.
Thanks, Kunal. A very nice question that you asked now. So when RERA was introduced in 2017, it was something that we had not heard about. From the customers' part of it, I think they just felt very secure that there was something coming in as an additional layer, like a bandage protecting them. And I think over the last 8 years that we have been, RERA has been in existence, I think it's done a fantastic job, especially in Tamil Nadu in terms of the regulatory part. And I think now, it's time for the incubation period, which is over, to get onto a larger role, which RERA can play. And like you rightly said, enforcing green building norms, safety audits and all. So I think the scope of RERA is not only regulatory, but also to get more and more involved in the kind of buildings. We talked about sustainability, we talked so many things in the earlier panel. So I think somewhere RERA also will have to sort of spread its wings to a larger cause, protecting the home buyers who typically are the segment that we deal with.
Yeah. So same question to you, Sridharan. I mean, you probably are better placed to answer this as well.
First, I would like to start with saying that, CREDAI was one of the first organizations to welcome formation of RERA.
Yes.
We were the first organization to welcome on an all-India basis.
Yeah.
And in fact, the rules we framed here in Tamil Nadu,
yeah.
I roped in JP, and that is how the rules were formed. Your question on how the sustainability, that ECB norms and other things that can be formulated, RERA's scope is very limited as of now. What you're saying is a welcome step. As of now, their scope is to protect the customer's interests. That is their main scope, which they have been trying to do. Because
Which is vital in itself.
Yeah, which they have in a very limited resources they have been trying to implement, and they have been successful also. We have nothing to. But what we need is integration between all these departments. You know, the RERA has to integrate with the housing department and with the planning authorities, the development authority, to bring in all these norms. Because these norms fall under the category of to be handled by the housing ministry,
right,
by the housing department. So this integration happens, only then RERA can start giving these inputs, which can be implemented by the authorities concerned. That is how it can start growing.
Right.
As it is, RERA cannot intervene directly, but yes, by integration, this can happen. And I think in over a future, you know, matter of time, this is going to happen. We all expect some positive things to happen.
Excellent, thank you. Jayaprakash, you know, you're sort of the lawyer on the panel. So bring in your perspective, yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, so to set the context, the understanding of a regulator, because first of all, we need to understand RERA as a matter of authority, he is the regulator of real estate industry as a whole. Okay?
Right.
So he should, or the authority should have a bird's eye view of how the real estate sector should grow. Right. So as of now, because when 2017 this act was implemented, the need of the hour is customer interest has to be protected.
Yes,
Authorities'
absolutely.
interest has to be protected. So the priority has been given there. Okay. So most of the adjudications have happened. Now if I say that as a matter of practice, now we know for sure, okay, if your contract says this is what is going to be the outcome.
The deliverable is much more certain than what it used to be.
The jurisprudence is there, now the precedences are there, now we know that, okay, what exactly is going to happen on that adjudication. My personal view is, now there is a need for a conciliation forum so that this kind of disputes should not take much of the time of the authority.
Right, right.
So this we have actually discussed in 5 years, 6 years back. There was a discussion why CMDA is looking into each and every plan sanction, because the rules are there. You can actually delegate that to individuals, to professionals, and you can start planning the town, right?
Right.
Similar kind of approach has to be there from RERA's perspective. If it is done earlier, it will be better, because RERA's focus, if you look at functions of the authority under the Act, there are about 11 primary functions which has been mandated under the Act itself, right? Out of which 2 or 3 is allotee-centric functions. Customer-centric functions. The balance are how we could encourage, how the real estate sector has to be improved is the mandate under the Act.
Right.
So probably that focus will now shift, because now the jurisprudence is there and the issues are getting settled.
Yeah.
Probably, I think, we hope. As a regulator, they have the empowerment to recommend advice to other line agencies, town planners. Now, Apartment Ownership Act is also there. So what happens now is your technical clearance has been handled under Town and Country Planning Act. Regulation is done, regulated under RERA. And Apartment Ownership Act takes care of the life cycle of the complex,
right,
including redevelopment. So the entire ecosystem is now closed in. That loop is there. Now probably
although those departments function in silos.
Authority should actually take over that regulator role as a priority, and probably that would actually answer your question. Then our sustainability and other parameters will get that highlight.
I think one of the things that we did discuss in our mock run was marshalling some of the numbers to provide in terms of how effective it has been in Tamil Nadu. Do you have them, or?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So just to give a macro level of understanding, at least when I actually did some research, I found that in 2018, 2017, I'm ignoring, because that is the year where RERA has been implemented, so understanding.
Yeah.
So 2018, if you look at, there are about 300 building development project registered and about 200 layout project registered. But when I look at 2023 numbers, the building project registration as such stays at 500 and the layout development goes to 4,800 or something. This is something
Huge.
at a macro level understand, because we are looking at higher FSI, how to provide housing as a need, there is a requirement that housing has to be provided.
Yes.
But if there is going to be a large-scale horizontal plotted development where it may contribute to a lot of housing, but it may not actually tend to the need. What
Yes.
an MSB can provide, a layout plot may not be able to provide that kind of a housing requirement. They cannot satisfy that requirement.
Right.
In that case, so these are aspects at a macro level, probably the regulator need to understand why this is happening. What is preventing developers to actually, or why building development is not encouraged. So these are aspects where the regulator has to focus. That's the requirement now.
Right, great. Coming back to Sanjay, what role do you think RERA can play in streamlining Tamil Nadu's new apartment redevelopment policy, ensuring occupancy rights, fair valuation, and phased construction safeguards, etc.?
So Kunal, when we discussed in the previous panel, there was a discussion on the redevelopment. And if you look around, there are multiple locations where, earlier there were private developers or the housing board who had developed colonies. And today they are in a state of redevelopment.
Yes.
However, the challenge a developer faces, and there are so many in this forum, is how do you actually develop? There's so much confusion within the occupiers, owners of properties about the redevelopment itself.
Right.
The fair market valuation.
What is a fair market valuation may differ from one person to the other.
Exactly. So somebody may say it's X, somebody will say Y, and there will be 2/3 who will be voting for it, and 1/3 will still say no, we are getting a lesser value. Then there are obligations as to what is it that they're going to get in return. Are there any rental compensations? So there are lots of areas which have been gaps. Developers spend a lot of time talking, engaging with them, and it takes years.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, JP. It takes years. Some of the projects, couple of years for them to actually come on the drawing board for redevelopment.
Yeah.
So I think RERA can actually play a very important role in educating, setting certain guidelines which one has to follow, barring the valuation, which is independent because valuation keeps changing. But making sure that there are these must do or have to be done, the do's of getting into a redevelopment is something that RERA can really impose in, so that the class of people who really don't understand what are the rights and obligations are covered in it.
Right. To some extent, I think we discussed this as well. The Apartment Complex Ownership Act, to some extent, addresses these concerns, doesn't it?
It does fully.
It does fully.
It does fully. It is absolutely on the dot how it should be implemented. You can be very proud to say that.
Yeah.
Tamil Nadu is one of the pioneer states of introducing this Apartment Ownership Act.
Yeah.
It is very precise. What should be done is very clearly explained.
Yeah.
But the issues on the implementation. We have been having issues on the implementation. How the competent authority is going to implement the act. Like 2/3 are accepting, 1/3 is not accepting.
Yes.
Or 5 members in the association is not accepting. Now, there is a right of appeal, which has been given to the 5 people who are not cooperating.
Who are objecting.
They can go to the authority. Then the authority, if he goes to the High Court, there is going to be a further litigation going on. So here, I think the model, what you have initiated, is a right model. RERA is the right body because they are already dealing with the customers.
Right.
I think we should make them the competent authority. Allow them to do the negotiation, allow them to do everything, have control on the project. Why should we go out to registrar office who's already overburdened, or go to a cooperative society who has no knowledge of the act and how this Apartment Ownership Act is to be implemented?
Right.
I think it is very right that RERA should intervene, and I think also from CREDAI we are going to start pushing this, saying that you take up the competent authority role, and the redevelopment is the market now. Please understand, there is no parcels of land available inside the city.
Right.
If at all you're going to go and develop, if the people want to continue living inside the city, it's only by redevelopment like old housing board apartments, which has got only a 1.5 FSI, which has been achieved, which can go for a 3.25 or 3.75. This is the market today to make people live inside the city.
Right.
So I think it's right. I think we should make RERA the competent authority, is my view.
Chairprakash. You've particularly spoken about in our conversations about how it's siloed.
Correct. Actually, redevelopment as a matter of policy, it is well edged out in the Act, and the rules clearly gives what process has to be followed. I don't think there is any ambiguity or lapse on that part. But like any new implementation of the Act, there are some teething issues are there that will get resolved. But what we need to understand as a whole, this 2/3, 1/3, on all these things is, this is not, again, we should unlearn the way we look at redevelopment scheme as a matter of what has been provided under the law, right? It is not, again, a joint development. Okay?
I see.
So
Right.
that is the understanding. Probably it has to actually it has to be discussed, and at large public should understand what is a redevelopment under a statute itself is. Redevelopment
Right.
is a scheme development. So it's a scheme development wherein it empowers 2/3 to take decision on behalf of the dissent as well. So this kind of discussions has to happen, but it is on the right track. Of course, competent authority has been notified. I hope that things will fall in place.
But do you agree with that point? I mean, competent authority has been notified, but we've often seen competent authorities sort of work in tangent, or at least not, what should we say, not in conjunction to...
not from the industry, not to understand the industry.
Right, yes.
Right. So I'll put it across like this. Yes, of course, that is there. For instance, I'll tell you, phase-wise development as a concept, we don't understand till RERA came into picture, right? 2017, RERA says that phase development is possible. You can register your project in phases. Even though your plan sanction is for a larger project, you can register in phases, right? But that doesn't reflect in your TNCBR.
Right.
Till recently, last week only, we've got that 2/3 consent modifications can happen. What is a phase-wise development? Right? In which area I need to give UDS? If I need to give UDS on the entire extent of the township, or should I actually give UDS only on the phase? So these are clarities which need, because conceptually, Act has provided certain liberties and certain. This is also one of the reasons why we are not actually encouraging township development. When we expect a developer who wants to do like last session, when Mr. Bala was talking about, he's looking at 400 acres of township development. But if you don't have clarity, it's too much of an exposure.
That's a huge,
right?
yeah.
10-acre development you develop as phase 1, and if your entire 400 acre is going to be encumbered, that's too much of risk.
Right.
So these are at a high level, probably we need to have clarity. So this phase-wise development, how the UDS has to be distributed, how the TNCBR will treat this, these are things which we need to cover. Otherwise, I think yes, we are there.
Right. Great. Could RERA, in coordination with planning bodies, be empowered to regulate urban form, such as by guiding building heights? I mean, this is something that is contentious, particularly in Tamil Nadu, enforcing transit-oriented development and enabling expanded FSI, to combat urban sprawl, because this is something that we, for instance, like what you said, 400 acres, and I remember you pointing out that, Bombay has a sort of a different, or Maharashtra has a different approach to FSI, and so does Hyderabad, etc. So is that something that can be addressed?
So, of course, Sridharan sir will be most competent because he's a developer, but, as a person in the industry, if you visit every city in India, that is the metros, you see that every city is very different in terms of the height, in terms of what they built. For example, if you go to Bombay, a 30-feet road will have a 12-story building.
Yep.
Whereas in Chennai, it's not permitted.
Yes.
There is a rule because of the road width and the height. So if you go to Hyderabad, the moment you land and you get into the city, you see huge 40 and 50-story buildings, skyscrapers. If you go to the Sea Link in Bandra and you see that huge skyline of Mumbai is totally transformed. So I think, every city or every state has got its own regulation. But I guess, the time has come now that even our city certainly has potential for vertical growth. And even like, JP said earlier, that just horizontal growth probably may not be the solution. There has to be a lot of vertical growth. And I guess in the third master plan, a lot of it probably will be there for us.
May get addressed, these concerns.
Absolutely.
Because as you said, the city, there's no space. There's no space.
See, the height is basically restricted by airport authority.
I see.
Yeah,
Right.
the road width does matter. Even if it's a 40 feet road, you can go. If it's a large parcel of land, you are allowed to do a multi-storied building, but the limitation is on the FSI. Maybe you can use a premium FSI, but it is limited to 2 FSI.
Yes.
But if it is if it is a 60 feet road, you can definitely go. You can definitely get your 3.25 FSI and plus your premium FSI and whatever, maybe you can achieve even 4.2 to 4.3, depending on the site extent. The whole issue is the height is all determined by the airport authority, not by the state government, not by the CBR or anything. The height is fully in the hands of airport authority. It all depends on how, see, Hyderabad,
I'm assuming this is all for security
the airport
reasons.
is littered at a distance from the city, so it is at a thing. Whereas Bombay has been having a lot of problems in height. Since I'm in the national, and I'm also one of the committee members of the airport authority of advisory committee of Chennai and Parandur, I'm aware that there is a lot of issues because of airport authority only, not because of anything else. Coming to the increase of FSI or FAR, whatever you call, there has been a lot of debates. Like you take Hyderabad, Hyderabad is a free FSI.
Yes.
There is a divided opinion. Once they gave free FSI, people feel that markets are coming down and there is too much of built-up area available. All this is
parking,
among parking, infrastructure, everything becomes a question mark. So among our own community of the top builders, there is a debate whether this should be allowed. Up to Tamil Nadu, yes, there has been a scheme which they have been trying to bring in on a transit-oriented development along the corridors of wherever the metro is there, whether an increased FSI can be given. This is being debated, but no decision has been taken as it is. It is being debated. But end of the day, if a city which is already overgrown, if it has to grow further, is only a vertical growth.
Right.
Otherwise, people have to keep moving to the satellite cities only.
Right.
To the extended cities like this side of Pundamalli and that side of GST or ECR is going to be the day to come. Inside the city, it's only the vertical growth which has to happen.
And I think that something needs to be, I mean, this is something that we've not quite discussed, but when you're talking about vertical growth, an aspect about city living is also cohabitation of, mixed use spaces that you can walk to, that you can sort of enjoy within the idea of a city. Urban sprawl restricts that, doesn't it? When we look at, for instance, Delhi as a city which has so many of these satellite towns, it almost feels unlivable, and those satellite towns in themselves become their own cities, and the concept of a single unit just disappears, doesn't it? So,
So you take OMR for example.
Yeah.
It has grown like that. It's a vertical. You'll see all the buildings are vertically high.
Yeah.
It's only the point of infrastructure what you're going to give. If it is a water and sanitation is provided, it becomes a success.
Yes.
Minus this, there is always a problem. So the most the government tries to concentrate, and we also keep pushing the government, is to give the best infrastructure available to the extended areas. City has already got.
Right.
City has already got, except that, if I'm going to build 1,000 flats in one area, if metro water has to come and connect that 1,000 houses and power has to be given, definitely the government has to improve the infrastructure. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
Yes.
And more so in the extended area where, they're combined living, like what you're saying is, there is a commercial, there is a shop, there is a supermarket. It's all being inbuilt in the complex.
Yes.
So this is the type of growth that is happening, and it will continue to happen, but more concentration on infrastructure alone will make it a success. And transportation. Now metro is coming.
Yeah.
If metro is not going to have come to that area, it would have been a nightmare.
Right.
To go into OMR and come back. Now there is a big relief. In another 2-3 years, you will find people moving very freely to OMR and come back. Now it's gone up to Navalu.
Yeah.
So it all strength is on the infrastructure.
Right.
And RERA, what you're saying, what role they can play in this is once again very limited with the scope what they have, because their formation of RERA is totally different from what they have to do. But definitely, yes, taking consumer interest, they can always form an advisory to the government.
Yes.
They can keep telling the housing ministry and to the development authority, these are the things you try and push or concentrate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And coming to what is RERA's role, I think in the next question I'll come to you, where there are a lot of interesting things.
Yeah, sure. So, taking a cue from there, how can RERA, in coordination with planning bodies, we specifically spoken about this, be empowered to regulate urban form? How can RERA collaborate with local bodies to make, say, gender-sensitive, age-inclusive design standards, ensure child-friendly spaces? Are these aspects also, things that an act like RERA, which is of course consumer-facing, look into?
These subjects are primarily, these are planning subjects.
Yes.
This should get covered in your master plan, or the town planners are supposed to do it. But I will again reiterate, saying that RERA, being the regulator of real estate, they have the empowerment to give advice and recommendation. Probably if they initiate, they can actually have some kind of committee, or anyways, of course, for preparing the master plan itself, so much of thought and so much of conversation happens, and they are preparing it. But this subject primarily falls into planning. RERA may not have a final say in this, or cannot actually force or compel something to be done. But
we can
as
have an advisory sort of
advisory or recommendation, they can definitely provide that.
Pointed out. I want to give you the last word. I'm aware that we should also have questions, and you have a flight to catch. So why don't you last word, and then we'll open up the.
Speaking about RERA, we have all been talking that they have consumer interest as the prime focus. But you always remember, any success cannot come from one side. You cannot clap with one hand. What RERA is doing is only clapping with one hand now.
Right.
No blames. They have control on all the developers and associates. But what happens is, the departments which need to give the go-ahead for a customer to occupy the apartment, if they are not cooperating, RERA is not able to control them. For example, you don't get your completion certificate on time, in spite of you have complied with everything. You don't get your power connection. You don't get your metro water or sewage or whatever, etc. So in all India basis, what we have been asking is, even last month we had, along with the president, we had a meeting with the Union Housing Minister, along with the secretary, Union Secretary, because this is governed by them, the RERA. Because what the Tamil Nadu RERA chairman also, when we met him, he says it doesn't fall under his powers, because it is not in the act. So we have been asking for an amendment to bring all these authorities under RERA.
Under RERA.
Only if you bring the authorities under RERA, the success can happen. You pay your fees and you wait for your EB connection for 6 months. Who's to suffer? The customer is suffering.
Yes.
So this is etc. has to stop. The authorities have to be brought under RERA. Only then RERA becomes a whole body for protecting the customer interests. This is one of the prime facts which we have been repeatedly representing. We have made some recommendations. We had Arati of Primus Partner appointed as the consultant, created a huge booklet, and that was given as a recommendation or what are the amendments we need. It is a long subject which I cannot address now in the short time. We have given a representation, but the major point is to bring in the government authorities also under RERA. That is our main focus now.
How has the government received all of this? I mean, because these are departments with Town and Country Planning Act, as Sri Priya in the previous panel said, it has a colonial era.
I don't want CMDA or DTCP to come under RERA.
It has sort of competing.
I only say where the customer interest is. When we go for a planning permission, customer is not involved.
But the customer may want to know or have a stake in how it's planned.
No, that is not possible, because the launch itself happens only after the planning permission is done.
Yeah.
And your RERA registration comes through. Only then you can launch a project.
Yeah.
So he comes in only after that.
At that point.
So at that point of time. But where his interest is to be protected is starting from the completion certificate. Getting the EB connection. If the EB connection is at the fault of the builder, leave it out. It's his headache.
Right.
But if there is going to be an undue delay, who's to pull them up? It is the RERA which has to come in, because it needs to protect the customer. That is where
the customer ultimately comes to the builder asking for it.
He comes to the builder directs it there, so it becomes a ball game. That should not happen. RERA should take the responsibility, because controlling one side alone will not help. You have to also control the department to say why there is a delay. give them the correct connection so that things move on, the customer is able to occupy the apartment.
Right.
So that is how it goes.
Excellent. With that insightful conversation, does anyone else have closing comments? Sanjay, yes.
I think what Sridharan said was very right.
Yeah.
I think it's more like RERA getting into a B2C and just not being a B2B body. So it has to really get more teeth, get itself more empowered, and ultimately the customer is the person who's actually going to benefit from all of these things. So RERA was set up for the customer, not for the builder, to just regulate the whole thing. So ultimately the customer stands to benefit because all the delays that he mentioned is again costing the customer.
Yeah.
There's a cost of capital, borrowed capital that he's taken a loan and he's still waiting and waiting and waiting.
Yeah.
So I think, this, what he mentioned is a very valid point, and I think probably in the next couple of years, it should be there.
Great.
Yeah, nothing more to add. But only thing what I was actually wondering is one of the functions again of RERA is to grade the promoters based on their good practices and performance. Right?
Yeah.
That would be directly that would help the public at large. Okay, because one of the very critical aspect of RERA is to bring the accountability and credibility of the promoters, and that has to be done. Probably RERA should actually start grading the promoters based on good practices,
Right,
and
yeah.
also they should incentivize for good practices, right? They should actually publish that these are all the promoters. So
Sort of an open,
transparent, and that will encourage people to actually follow good practices that will ultimately help the public at large and the customers.
I do hope the government is listening. We'll probably read it in the Hindu tomorrow. Well, thank you so much for this excellent conversation. Again, the panel is open for questions. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
May I?
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. My question is to Mr. JP, and I really support Mr. Sridharan for bringing the other authorities also into the RERA, because we have been talking about the major builders and credit builders, but what happens if the question to Mr. JP, in case of unapproved flats with the UDS owners, if they are going for a redevelopment, what happens to them?
Oh, I see.
And how,
That's an interesting question.
How they are going to be compensated? If the road width is less, and already the builder has constructed 2 floors extra, and they are not going to be allowed to reconstruct or redevelop with the same 3 floors or 4 floors in case of street house areas. So how are they going to be compensated, and who is going to?
Sir, you're asking about a very legal principle where 40. So let us assume that building is 40-year-old. Everybody has acknowledged their ownership, even though it is unapproved, even though it is in violation. So they need to get the benefit on redevelopment. There is certain actually provision where probably the policy or the act has been thought about this scenario. That's where the Apartment Ownership Act has actually moved away from undivided interest position to undivided share position to undivided interest. If you see the Apartment Ownership Act, they nowhere talk about undivided share of land. They only talk about undivided interest. Undivided interest is calculated based on the proportionate carpet area. So carpet area is your physical construction. Somewhere the Act has also thought about this kind of scenario to protect the interest of bona fide purchaser due to ignorance or something. In the past they have done it. It is thought, but these are actually issues which will get settled only by interpretation, and courts has to actually give a final word on this. It will take some time. But there are possibilities. They will not lose out their entire benefits in redevelopment. They may not. That's my personal view.
I have a question this side.
So that's what I'm saying, sir. So these are issues which will get settled.
It's an evolving concept in law. I mean, as he said, this will have to go to courts, etc. Yes. Okay.
Here I am. May I ask a question, please?
Unwanted happenings நடந்ததுனா என்ன சேஃப்டி மெஷர்ஸ் இருக்கு சொல்லுங்க கொஞ்சம். ஏன்னா உங்க ரியல் எஸ்டேட்ல கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் காஸ்ட்டை குறைக்கிறதுக்காக நீங்க 25 மாடி கட்டிட்டு போயிடுவீங்க சார். ஏதாவது ஒன்று எவ்வளோ பார்க்குறோம் ஆல் ஓவர் இந்தியா, பேன் இந்தியாவில் சம் ஆக்சிடென்ட்ஸ் பார்க்கும்போது பேத்தட்டிக்காக இருக்கு. ஏதாவது காப்பாற்ற முடியுதா? அப்புறம் தூக்கி போடுறாங்க கீழே. வாட் இஸ் த யூஸ் ஆஃப்? நான் இன்னொரு பாயிண்ட், இந்த மெட்ரோ அதெல்லாம் போடுறாங்க. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஃபேஸ் 1 இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணாங்க, 7,000 கோடி 2 ரூட் போட்டாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் ஃபேஸ் 2 50,000 கோடி 60,000 கோடி whatever it may be. இந்த காசை இப்போ சொல்லியிருக்காங்க பாருங்க, சென்னை டு விழுப்புரம், கோயம்புத்தூர் டு சேலம், சென்னை டு வேலூர் 3 ரூட் சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. இதை கூட விழுப்புரம் டு சேலம் கனெக்ட் பண்ணிட்டா தமிழ்நாடு மெட்ராஸ் டு கோயம்புத்தூர் கனெக்டிவிட்டி ஆயிடுது. இன்னும் நீங்க சிட்டி எக்ஸ்பேண்ட் பண்ணுங்க சார். ஏன் நீங்க ஒரே பெரம்பூர்லயே கீழ்ப்பாக்கத்திலேயே புரசவாக்கத்திலேயே வந்துட்டு இருக்கீங்க? நீங்க விழுப்புரம் வரைக்கும் எக்ஸ்பேண்ட் பண்ணுங்க சார். டோன்ட் மெட்ரோ லீஸ்ட் பாத்ரா அபவுட் தி சிட்டி.
ஓகே,
கொஞ்சம் வெளியே போங்க. இந்த மூச்சு காத்து கொஞ்சம் வெளி காத்து உள்ள படணும் மக்களுக்கு. நீங்க 24 மாடி இருந்தா கூட உங்களுக்கு திருப்தி இருக்காது. அது உங்களுக்கு தெரியுமா? வில்லேஜ்ல இருந்து பார்த்தா தெரியும் உங்களுக்கு.
I think that was more of a opinion. That was a suggestion, but maybe the safety aspect if you want to address.
சார், நீங்க சொன்னதுல வந்து ஹைட் போனா ரொம்ப ஈஸி, உங்களுக்கு வந்து ரேட் கம்மின்னு சொல்றீங்க. அது ஆப்போசிட். மோர் த ஹைட் த மோர் த காஸ்ட். இன்னொன்னு, வித்தவுட் சேஃப்டி யாருமே இனிமே இந்தியாவில் பில்டிங் பண்ண முடியாது. ஒரு அப்ரூவல் வாங்கி கரெக்டான லோக்கல் பாடியில் கரெக்டான டெவலப்மெண்ட் அத்தாரிட்டி கிட்டையும் ஃபயர் சர்வீஸ் நாட் ஒன்லி நோ அப்ஜெக்ஷன் சர்டிஃபிகேட், ஃபயர் என்ஓசியும் வாங்கணும், காம்ப்ளையன்ஸும் வாங்கணும். அப்பதான் கம்ப்ளீஷன் சர்டிஃபிகேட்டை கொடுப்பாங்க. இல்ல let me finish sir. No please sit down. Let me finish. Please sit down. See, ஃபயர்ன்றது வந்து ஒரு டிபார்ட்மெண்ட். A department you have to believe somebody. ஒருத்தர் கொடுக்கும் பொழுது அந்த ஃபயர் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் இஸ் கிவிங் an NOC னா all the precautions are taken, the most modern equipments are being installed. This is how it happens. And everywhere accidents can happen. Train goes, train accident happens. I'm not saying no, but world over, இந்தியாலையும் சரி, தமிழ்நாடு தவிர்த்து, சென்னை தவிர்த்து, நீங்க பெங்களூர், ஹைதராபாத், பாம்பே, எங்க போனாலும், டெல்லியில போனாலும் vertical growth is happening. This is the development, but all aspects of safety have to be taken. Adula undoubtedly no questions on that. Thank you.
If RERA is created for customer service, should not RERA be empowered to check the construction standards and quality from time to time?
Can you where is this question coming from?
Here.
Okay. If you can introduce yourself as well.
My name is Nandakumar. I'm from Annanagar, Chennai, Dynamic. If RERA is created for the customer interest, should not RERA be empowered to delve deep into the construction standards and practices followed by builders?
Right, excellent question.
Thank you.
You can be very clear when the RERA Act has mandated 5 years of warranty, absolute warranty on construction. Within 5 years, any problem comes, you are open to address it to the builder, and if he does not sort it out, it can be immediately taken up with RERA, and there is no question of any reconciliation and all that. If it has to be done, it has to be done. That's what RERA Act says. But you cannot expect RERA to be a supervisor. That can never happen anywhere, because the standards are set. Quality products are supposed to be used. If there is a deficiency, the builder gets, that's where what he said, the ranking comes. It will automatically, 5 years warranty has come from, I think from 2017. We have not found any major problems in any of the new buildings.
Great. One last question.
Can I? Yeah. So I'm Ramya. I'm an architect in practice, having my own company. My question is basically, we spoke of transit-oriented development, and we also spoke about urban sprawl, vertical heights, and all that.
A little louder, please.
Sorry. We spoke about transit-oriented development. We also spoke about heights, and we also spoke about, the verticality and all that. There's a lot of gentrification also happening outside, the city. So my question is there any specific focus that has been done, especially for affordable housing? Because that gets lost in this overall picture,
Yes, indeed. Anyone want to address that?
It's a perfect question. Affordable housing has taken a backtrack. It is true. Any affordable housing can happen only based on the land cost. If the land cost goes up, affordable housing becomes a failure. If you take Thirumarisai, we have one of our builders doing a large scheme in Thirumarisai. First phase, he's just selling it out, but second phase is just slow. The problem is distance. You need to have the infrastructure. Once again, I come back to it. You have to have the infrastructure, you have to have the transportation, where people should be able to travel to the city to work and go back. Affordable housing doesn't mean that you go and dump people outside somewhere and they're not able to come back to the city. It's not only living, they need to earn. So the concept of affordable housing is mainly on the land cost. We have been talking to the government and requesting them that we should do a PPP model to develop affordable housing. Only then it becomes feasible, because the land cost has gone up so much, people are finding it too difficult to bring in affordable housing. That too, Chennai peripheral. Maybe tier 2, tier 3 cities it's successful, but in Chennai it's not been very successful.
So as a matter of PPP, I think there is a land pooling scheme which has been introduced in Town and Country Planning Act 1 year back. Okay, so going forward, if we want the state to contribute the land, something like in Gujarat, town planning schemes are very popular. People actually go there and request the government to take their land for a TP scheme. Okay, because they've already shown that it is a proven concept. By giving your land, you are only going to get a value proposition, not that it is an acquisition. But here, general sentiment is, if government comes out with some kind of a scheme, it is always a forceful acquisition. There is an agenda behind it. So this campaign, this has to be deliberated, right? Unless and until it is going to be a participatory scheme, affordable housing will be a dream. As he already told, your land cost is unaffordable. Then how can you actually give an affordable housing? May not work. There should be a state level participation, but there should be a private participation as well. Land pooling is a fantastic scheme. If that has been actually taken along with some individual developers, it might work.
Sanjay, do you want to add to it?
Also, the definition of affordable housing is very different. When you say our city, maybe a 40 or a 45 lakh is an affordable. The moment you go to a different city, the affordable changes, right? You go to a Bombay or you go to Pune, it may be very different. So like Sridharan said, it's basically the land cost, because that is the basic raw material that you build, right? So the land cost is affordable, only then you can get affordable housing. And that's why you see over the last 2 to 3 years, while in the city, the luxury projects have become 3-4 times of what they were, the affordable has actually shrunk.
This is almost nationwide, no? Particularly in big cities. I mean, Bombay, Delhi, this trend is everywhere, where
it's trending
affordable housing
everywhere
stock
because
is really...
it has depleted. If you look at all our studies, it says that the affordable market is shrinking, and somehow the other segment, the luxury home segment, is on the rise. So I think it's the land cost that's playing a big role in this thing. If the land cost is affordable, obviously affordable housing is there, because again, it's a huge volume. The blue collar job segment really needs that housing. It's all about getting them a house in their budget.
So
One last question we have.
I'll introduce myself. I'm Srilata, here from PBFI, that is Property Buyers Forum of India, Welfare Foundation. So we have a forum to represent buyers. So I want to know whether there is any other forum which we can connect for the welfare of the buyers. As mentioned by Prakash sir and Sridharan sir, just there should be a forum to represent the buyers. So I want to know whether there is any other forum that is available to represent the buyers. To RERA, as a SEBI, as a commodity participants CPI member, we are representing to SEBI as well as a buyer forum of India. I want to know whether as we can bridge a gap between RERA and buyers as a forum. And if there is any other forum which is representing that, I want to know whether there is any details regarding that.
As of now, there is no conciliation forum in Tamil Nadu. In other states like Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh and few other states, it's come. But as of now, RERA is the only forum which you should address, because they are taking up anything that comes up if it is genuine. So now as it is, please keep addressing to RERA. Maybe it's a matter of time, maybe another 6 months, like how Maharashtra has brought in a forum in between a conciliation forum. We will also get it.
Okay,
Maharashtra
so I can introduce myself as a property, that is PBFI Welfare Foundation Forum, which will be supporting the buyers with the help of RERA.
Yeah, you can represent
Yes,
to RERA.
so that I'll introduce myself as Srilata, the representative and director of PBFI Welfare Foundations, which will be a gap which will be helping the buyers to support, to find their solution in all your buying the properties. Thank you one and all.
Great, thank you. That gentleman then, he's had his hand up for a while. We'll just ask that finally. Yeah, he's been.
Thank you. One sharp question. I'm also Sridhar. I'm a freelance strategy coach. This is to Mr. Sridharan, RERA. So, RERA is a regulatory authority. Yes. Right. You want to have some expanded terms of reference, so that government authorities also will be brought under you, so that they are answerable to you. There are regulatory authorities in other sectors as well. Banking, insurance, telecommunication. What is happening to those regulatory authorities? Are they able to bring those government authorities who are accountable to them? That will provide you some argument with the government. Okay. Please tell me what is happening there. Then only you can aspire to get
First thing is, I'm not from RERA. I'm from the...
I know. You are an executive committee member. Sorry, sir.
I'm from RERA National. I'm
Sir,
executive committee
you are an
member, but I've been
executive
handling
member.
RERA.
Sir.
See, what we want is, we don't want RERA to take up authority of anybody. We want RERA to only take up authorities which directly falls for the consumer interest. That is for the customer's interest. There is a delay in completion certificate, we want RERA to pull up. If there is a delay in TNEB connection, we want RERA to pull up. Not for us. It is for the customer's interest. Yeah. Same way with metro water or water supply. We don't get into other areas because it's all builders' responsibility. So we limit that, but I'm not very sure. You have given me a lead. Let me find out what the other two authorities are doing so that it can help us in better representation. Thank you.
Great, thank you. I think that's really all. No, that's up. We really have to wrap up. You can always have this conversation after this panel. Thank you so much to our panelists for this very insightful conversation, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Requesting Kunal to please do the honors and present our panelists with a token of our appreciation. At 2:20 as we start our next session. Thank you so much.
தமிழ்நாடு கட்டுமனை ஒழுங்குமுறை ஆணையத்தினுடைய தலைவர் சிவதாஸ் மீனா அவர்கள் நம்மோடு இருக்கிறார். அவரோடு பேசலாம். சார், மேடையிலே நிறைய விஷயங்கள் பகிர்ந்துக்கிட்டீங்க. தமிழ்நாடை பொறுத்தவரையும் இந்தியாவிலேயே கட்டுமானத்துறையில் வந்து மிகப்பெரிய ஒரு பங்காற்றி கொண்டிருக்கிறது. வருங்காலத்தில் தமிழ்நாட்டினுடைய ரியல் எஸ்டேட் வளர்ச்சி எப்படி இருக்கும், அதற்கு தமிழ்நாடு அரசு மேற்கொண்டு வரும் திட்டங்கள் என்ன?
தமிழ்நாடு பொறுத்தவரையில் அரசாங்க சார்பாக பல நடவடிக்கை எடுத்திருக்காங்க. அதாவது அந்த ரியல் எஸ்டேட் செக்டர் இது மட்டும் இல்லை, மற்ற செக்டர்ஸ் எல்லா செக்டர்ஸில் எப்படி ஈஸியாக பிஸ்னஸ் செய்ய முடியும், ஈஸ் ஆஃப் டூயிங் பிஸ்னஸ், அந்த வகையில் தமிழ்நாடு ரொம்ப நல்லா பண்ணிட்டுருக்காங்க. நான் எங்கே இந்த பொறுத்தவரையில் அந்த ரேராவோட தான் ஐ லிமிட். ஸோ நம்ம ரேரா சார்பாக நம்ம பல நடவடிக்கை இப்போ எடுத்திருக்கோம் ஒரு டிரான்ஸ்பேரண்ட் மேனரில். ஏன்னா அந்த ரேராவோட நோக்கம்னா ஹோம் பயர்ஸ்க்காக அவங்க இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட்டை ப்ரொடெக்ட் பண்ணும், அவங்களுக்கு எது மாதிரி பாதிப்பு வரக்கூடாது. அதே சமயத்தில் நைத்து ப்ரொமோட்டர்ஸ், ரியல் எஸ்டேட்டில் உள்ள ப்ரொமோட்டர்ஸ், பில்டர்ஸ் அவங்க பிஸ்னஸ் ஒரு டிரான்ஸ்பரண்ட் மேனரில் செய்யணும். ஸோ அவங்களுக்கு நம்ம உதாரணமாக ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் அதை ஒரு சட்டப்படி 30 நாளுக்குள்ளே நம்ம ப்ராஜெக்டை ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணணும். ஸோ அதை நம்ம என்ஷூர் பண்ணுறோம். ஏன்னா அந்த டைத்தில் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் இருந்தால் தான் அவங்க சேல்ஸு அந்த பணிகள் எல்லாம் லான்ச் பண்ண முடியும். ஸோ ஒரு சைடில் ப்ரொமோட்டர்ஸ்க்காக குறுகிய காலத்தில் நம்ம ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் பண்ணுறோம். அதே சமயத்தில் அந்த ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் படி என்னென்ன தகவல்கள் அவங்க ஹோம் பயர்ஸ்க்கு ப்ரொவைட் பண்ணும், மக்கள் மத்தியில் என்னென்ன இன்ஃபார்மேஷன்ஸ் அவங்க பண்ணணும், அந்த இன்ஃபார்மேஷன்ஸ் அவங்க ப்ரொவைட் பண்ணி தான் ஆகணும். அதை என்ஷூர் பண்ணுறோம். ஸோ ஹோம் பயர்ஸ்க்கு தேவையான தகவல்கள், தேவையான சலுகைகள் அவங்க ப்ராமிஸ் பண்ணபடி கொடுக்கணும். அதே சமயத்தில் அந்த சட்டப்படி என்னென்ன அவங்க செய்யணும், என்ன செய்யக்கூடாது அதுவும் செய்யணும். அதுக்காக பல நடவடிக்கை நம்ம எடுத்திருக்கோம். ஸோ இது ரெகுலேஷன். ஓவரால் செக்டர் பொறுத்தவரையில் பார்த்தா தமிழ்நாடுல ரியல் எஸ்டேட் செக்டர் நல்லா பண்ணிட்டுருக்கு. இது நம்ம ஜிடிபியில் ஒரு திட்டக்கிட்ட ஒரு 10-12% ஒரு பங்களிப்பு இந்த ரியல் எஸ்டேட் செக்டருக்கு இருக்குது. வர காலங்களில் ரியல் எஸ்டேட் செக்டரோட கண்ட்ரிபியூஷன் இன்னும் இம்ப்ரூவ் ஆகும்.
தமிழ்நாட்டை பொறுத்தவரையும் ஒரு அர்பனைஸ்டு ஸ்டேட். சென்னை, கோயம்புத்தூர், மதுரை இந்த மாதிரி பெரிய நகரங்கள் தவிர்த்து பல செகண்ட் டயர் சிட்டிஸில் வந்து ரியல் எஸ்டேட் ஃபீல்டு எந்த அளவுக்கு வந்து டெவலப் ஆகிட்டு இருக்கு, அதுக்கு என்ன மாதிரியான ஒரு ஒழுங்குமுறைகளை மாற்றி அமைச்சிட்டு இருக்கோம்?
அதாவது தமிழ்நாட்டில் சென்னை, ஆஃப்கோர்ஸ் சென்னையில் நல்லா இதை டெவலப் ஆகிட்டுருக்கு. நீங்கள் சொன்னபடி கோயம்புத்தூரில் ஆஃப்டர் சென்னை கோயம்புத்தூரில் அதை டெவலப் ஆகிட்டுருக்கு. அது மட்டும் இல்லாமல் மற்ற சிட்டிங்களில் உதாரணமாக ஈரோடு, திருப்பூர், கரூர், திருச்சி, ஈவன் விழுப்புரம், கடலூர் போன்ற பகுதிகளில் கூட இப்போ நல்லா டெவலப் ஆகிட்டுருக்கு. ஸோ இதுக்கு ஒவ்வொரு பகுதியில் நம்ம இந்த ரேரா ஆக்ட் பொறுத்தவரையில் இதை ஒரு பெரிய நகரங்களுக்கு மட்டும் இல்லை, இதை நான் பிளான்ட் ஏரியாஸ், ஊரக பகுதிக்கு கூட இந்த சட்டம் நம்ம ஸ்டேட்டில் இருக்குது. ஸோ நம்ம எல்லா பகுதிகளில் இதை சரியாக இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்ணும். ஏன்னா அந்த அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட்டு இதெல்லாம் சரியாக கொடுக்கணும். நம்ம ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் பண்ணாமல் சேல்ஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது, அதை நாங்கள் மானிட்டர் பண்ணிட்டுருக்கோம். ஸோ இது சிட்டிஸ்க்கு மட்டும் இல்லை, ஊரக பகுதியில் கூட ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்ட் பண்ணும்போது அது டிரான்ஸ்பேரண்ட் மேனரில் ஆக்ட் படி சட்டப்படி தான் அதை செய்யணும். அதுக்கு நம்ம மானிட்டர் பண்ணிட்டுருக்கோம். உதாரணமாக இந்த இசி நம்ம ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் வெப்சைட்டில் போயிட்டு நம்ம இன்கம்பரன்ஸ் சர்டிஃபிகேட் பார்க்கலாம். ஸோ அதில் ஏதோ ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் பண்ணாமல் அதில் சேல்ஸ் ஆகிடுச்சுன்னா அதில் தெரிஞ்சிடும். ஸோ அதை நாங்கள் வாட்ச் பண்ணுறோம். ஸோ எந்த பகுதியில் இருந்தாலும் இதை வெளிப்படையாக, அதாவது டிரான்ஸ்பரண்ட் மேனரில் இந்த பணிகள் செய்யணும். அதுக்கு ரேரா சார்பாக நம்ம அனைத்து நடவடிக்கை எடுத்திருக்கோம்.
போன வாரம் ஒரு அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட் கொடுத்துருந்தீங்க, அதாவது ஒரு அறிக்கை கொடுத்துருந்தீங்க. ரியல் எஸ்டேட் நிறுவனங்கள் அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட் பண்ணும்போது அதில் வந்து அவங்க குறிப்பிட்டிருக்கிற இன்ஃபர்மேஷன், இந்த ஊர்லேருந்து இவ்வளோ ஊருக்குள்ள டிஸ்டன்ஸ் சரியாக இருக்க வேண்டும், அவங்க என்னென்னலாம் விளம்பரத்தில் வந்து மக்களுக்கு வந்து தெளிவுபடுத்துகிற மாதிரி இருக்கணும்னு குறிப்பிட்டிருந்தீங்க. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட் நிறைய அதிகமாயிடுச்சு ரியல் எஸ்டேட் நிறுவனங்கள். அதை ஒழுங்குமுறைப்படுத்துறதுக்கு வேற என்ன நடவடிக்கைலாம் எடுத்துகிட்டு வரீங்க சார்?
நீங்கள் அந்த கைட்லைன்ஸ் நம்ம இஷ்யூ பண்ணிட்டோம். அதில் இப்போது அந்த கைட்லைன்ஸை மட்டும் இல்லாமல் அந்த சட்டத்தோட செக்ஷன் 37 படி அந்த டைரெக்ஷனாக நேற்று மாற்றிருக்கோம். அதாவது அந்த டைரெக்ஷன்ஸ் அதை இஷ்யூ பண்ணியிருக்கோம். அதை கட்டாயமாக அதை ஃபாலோ பண்ணணும். ஏன்னா அதனால் யாருக்கு பாதிப்பு வராது. நம்ம இப்போ இன்னைக்கு கூட நான் பேசும்போது சொன்னேன், இது அந்த கிரியேட்டிவிட்டி நம்ம அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட் பண்ணும்போது ஒரு கிரியேட்டிவ் வேலை பண்ணணும். அந்த கிரியேட்டிவிட்டியில் நம்ம அந்த கிரியேட்டிவிட்டிக்கு இதனால ஒன்றும் பாதிப்பு வராது. ஆனால் நம்ம சொல்ல வேண்டிய என்ன மக்களுக்கு சொல்கிறோம் அது நாளைக்கு செய்யணும் இல்லையா? சொல்லுவதை செய்யணும். ஆனால் சில சமயத்தில் நம்ம சொல்கிறத வேற, செய்கிறத வேற. அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கக்கூடாது. அதுதான் இந்த கைட்லைன்ஸோட ஒரு பாட்டம் லைன். டேட் நீங்கள் என்ன சொல்கிறீங்க அதான் செய்யணும், அல்லது என்ன செய்ய போகிறீங்க அதான் நீங்கள் சொல்லணும். ஸோ அதனால தான் அந்த கைட்லைன்ஸ். ஸோ அந்த கைட்லைன்ஸ் எல்லோரும் ஹாப்பியாக இருக்கணும். அது யார் வீடு வாங்கி போகிறாங்களோ அவங்களுக்கு மட்டும் இல்லை, யார் வீடு விற்க போகிறாங்களோ அவங்களும் ஹாப்பியாக இருக்கணும். ஏன்னா அவங்களுக்கும் சமமாக ஒரு லெவல் பிளேயிங் ஃபீல்டு நம்ம ப்ரொவைட் பண்ணுறோம். சிலரை கரெக்டாக பண்ணுறாங்க, சிலரை கரெக்டாக பண்ணல, அப்படி இருக்கக்கூடாது. எல்லாமே ஒரே மாதிரி இருக்கணும். அதனால தான் அந்த டைரக்ஷன்ஸ் கைட்லைன்ஸ் நம்ம இஷ்யூ பண்ணியிருக்கோம். இதை நம்ம எல்லா பேப்பர்ஸும் நம்ம பார்க்குறோம். அதே மாதிரி இந்த மீடியாஸுக்கு தனியாக டீம் போட்டுட்டு அந்த சோஷியல் மீடியாவில் வர அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட்டும் நம்ம பார்க்கணும். டிவி அண்ட் மற்ற அந்த எலக்ட்ரானிக் பிளாட்ஃபார்மில் வர அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட்ஸை நம்ம பார்க்கணும். இதை மட்டும் இல்லை, நம்ம ஃபீல்டு சர்வே கூட பண்ணுறோம். உதாரணமாக சில பகுதியில் அந்த வெளியே சூரோட்டி வைப்பாங்க, அந்த அவுட்டோர் நிறைய அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் வைக்கிறாங்க. அதுக்கு கூட நம்ம டீம்ஸ் எல்லாம் ஃபார்ம் பண்ணி வாங்கிறோம். ஏன்னா அல்டிமேட்லி இந்த சட்டத்தோட நோக்கம் பொதுமக்களுக்கு ஒன்றும் பாதிப்பு இருக்கக்கூடாது. பொதுமக்கள் ஒரு சொத்து வாங்கும் போது என்ன அவங்க சொல்றாங்களோ வாங்கிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி அந்த எக்ரிமெண்ட்ல அப்படிதான் வரணும். கடைசி அவங்களுக்கு அந்த சொத்து கொடுக்கும்போது அப்படிதான் இருக்கணும். ஸோ அதான்
லாஸ்ட் ஒரு கொஸ்டின். பொதுவாகவே கட்டுமான நிறுவனங்கள் வந்து நகர் பெருக்கத்தினால நீர்நிலைகள்ல கட்டடங்கள் கட்டுறாங்க அப்படின்னு ஒரு கம்ப்ளைண்ட்ஸ் வருது. அது மழைக்காலங்களில் தான் நமக்கே தெரிய வருது இந்த இடங்கள்ல இருக்குது. ஸோ நீர்நிலைகள் ஆக்கிரமிப்புகள் இதுல இருந்து கட்டுமானங்கள் நிறுவனங்களையும் பொதுமக்களையும் பாதுகாத்து அவங்க வசதியா வாழ்றதுக்கு என்ன மாதிரியான வழிமுறைகள் வைத்திருக்கிறீர்கள்?
இது நம்ம ரேரா பர்வியூவில் வராமல் இதுக்கு முன்னாடியே பிளானிங் அத்தாரிட்டிஸ் சிஎம்டி இருந்தாலும் சரி அல்லது டிடிசிபி இருந்தாலும் சரி அவங்க பிளானிங் அப்ரூவல் கொடுக்கும்போது இதெல்லாம் பார்க்குறாங்க. உதாரணமாக ஒரு நீர்நிலைக்குள்ள உதாரணமாக அடையாறு ஓரமா ஏதோ இது இருக்குன்னா அதை கட்டாயமாக அந்த வாட்டர் ரிசோர்சஸ் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் அவங்ககிட்ட அவங்க கருத்தை கேட்டுட்டு அவங்க சொல்லப்படி அதை பண்ணணும். அது சொல்கிறாங்க, அந்த கண்டிஷன்ஸில் சொல்கிறாங்க. எங்கிட்ட வரும்போது பிளானிங் அத்தாரிட்டிஸில் டிடிசிபி சிஎம்டியில் என்ன கண்டிஷன்ஸ் வச்சுருக்காங்க அந்த கண்டிஷன்ஸ் ஃபுல்ஃபில் பண்ணிட்டாங்களா அது நாங்கள் உறுதி பண்ணுறோம். அப்போ தான் அதை ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் பண்ணுறோம். தேங்க்யூ.
தேங்க்யூ சார். புதிய தலைமுறைக்காக ஒளிப்பதிவாளர் மதுசூதனனுடன் செய்தியாளர் பாலவெற்றிவேல், நவநீத கிருஷ்ணன். ஓகே.
Hello and welcome.